And we are live. Hello, hello, hello. Let us resume today's coin grind. We will be doing this quest over and over again for the next 3 hours. So before we begin, even though I was about to begin, we should just look at how many items we're starting with. We are going with a bit under 6 million and starting with roughly 131 majors and 89 drinks. Now, for those that are tuning in from yesterday, you may be wondering, what happened to all the coin you grinded yesterday? Well, I kind of immediately spent it all, so now it's time for me to start saving up again. As soon as the quest appears. Alright, let's do this. As soon as I just kill this intro title. Hey Prisma, welcome back, day 2. You know, I didn't think I'd be this enthused with doing the half stamina coin dungeon. Well, not the coin dungeon, the half stamina coin scuffle. But I don't know, I'm feeling it this time. Maybe it's just because it's first weekend. Maybe it's because I'm getting like a bit 4 million more than the last time I grinded it. But it's going pretty smooth. Maybe it's just because I'm feeling relaxed too, and I'm having a hankering to make new content for Housamo on this channel. But yeah, let us do our best. So again, I will be streaming for the next 3 days as well, but it's not gonna be Coin Scuffle because the coin dungeon or the Coin Scuffle isn't even up then. Rather, I'm just gonna be doing the dungeon story quests. So I hope they're interesting. I've always wondered what they entailed. Unfortunately, I've been spoiled by some key terms here and there, but I've been lucky enough to not know any of the actual plot. But this is not an invitation for you to spoil me now, so please do not do that. Nice, you're motivated. I may save some of my stamina drinks for events. I mean, either way, no matter whether I'm super motivated or not, I'm gonna be saving stamina drinks just because I have a shit ton. Unless, like, there's been a few times where I almost managed to use them all, but I always stopped at 10 anyways remaining. But 10 is pretty much like the threshold of how many drinks I will save in the end, because of, you know, events that I might want to get their AR for some reason. I don't really go to shop anymore because I have no need for that many limit break items anymore. But, you know, having a few drinks extra is still good just in case for things like, you know, ARs or just the unknown, frankly, like a sudden campaign. Hello, Lewis. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good day/night indeed. We are just talking about thingamabobs, about my motivation for this event. It's been good, and yeah, I'm hoping to drain pretty much all my salmon drinks by the end of this campaign, but like there's a lot of drinks I have. I doubt I can do that with just 2 weekends. See, I was able to do it last time with the new semester coin campaign, but that was only possible because it was every day of the week. This is just, you know, two days on weekends, and then there's only going to be like 3 weekends, and it's half stamina as well, so it's like going to be significantly slower than that per quest to complete. So honestly, I'm probably not even gonna. I'm probably only gonna barely break half of all my drinks, if I'm lucky. But yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm not sure if they're gonna do a new semester coin campaign this year, since we already have 2 identical, you know, different kinds of coin sources right now. I think it'd be neat because, like I said, I'm not really gonna use all my drinks. But if we don't have a coin campaign, like for the new semester units that should be coming up after this campaign, I'm not really sure how exactly they'd make it a special thing besides just throwing out a banner. It was an enjoyable experience, even if it was kind of gatekept by you had to pull on a banner. But then again, you know, that's pretty much every event ever. But I applied a few new sound filters for today, so let me know if the sound sounds fine. I was trying to aim for a better overall loudness, and I also applied a limiter, for those who know what that is, or rather for those who don't, it's just the thing that reduces my digital voice a bit before it turns into analog if it reaches a certain threshold. Maybe imagining things, but and hearing my playback, I feel like my S's and T's are a bit quieter, but maybe that's just all in my head. No, not this music. This is the wrong song for this. This is the song that played for the new semester campaign, I believe. Overall, the sound record is kind of what I expected Housamo Discord to be. I mean, yeah, you got a good sample for the first day. It's actually rather quiet in comparison to its usual thing because, you know, in reality, as much as I try to make these campaigns fun for my viewers, for everyone else, generally speaking, campaigns are pretty much dead zones. Like, I know LifeWonders and Housamo doesn't really have like dead periods and more in terms of no campaigns and no events, but you know, campaigns are pretty much next to being a dead zone of no content. So the only people who really talk are just people who want to clamor over their thirst, usually about like their favorite characters and stuff like that. It's usually a lot more active during like the beginning events. And sorry I wasn't able to talk much. Yeah, I wanted to say that, but the thing is, I don't really talk in that server on the days I stream because I'm just so tired after streams that like my brain shuts off. I'm like, all I can do is lurk. But yeah, I definitely have lots of fun talks there. That if you hang out long enough, you might see me go in a heated discussion, or you might hear me make some degenerate jokes, or you know, one or the other. That's always the case for me. But yeah, I'm certainly not just the only person that talks there. So there's lots of other fun characters there, and I do mean characters because some of them can be quite zany. But I'm glad you think it's fun so far. Now don't worry, it's not like I was expecting a long-ass conversation. I was considering joining before anyway. Alright, well, that's kudos. I think you did mention that. You did want to join before, but I'm glad I could have pushed you a bit because honestly, it's always nice to have new people, and you seem like a pretty cool person. I may have put in like the strict rule comment in the beginning, but that was just like because I never had to say it before, but the server actually only recently shifted to 18+, so I felt like obligated to say that. So yeah, if I were to name drop some names there, which is like, I guess it's not rude because I'm only going to be giving positive comments right now. Let's see. Well, there's Irby. You already know Irby from discussions if you've seen our discussions. He's always fun to talk to. He kind of just shows up and criticizes certain characters, or whether it's their kits or their role in the story or the story itself. But overall, he does it because of his love for the game. And then there's also Mokosmo, who is, you know, quite a... I don't know, he seems to be super big brain when it comes to really shitty units. I don't know how to describe it. He's also kind of a meme lord too. Like, I try to meme sometimes. I might be a bit too like frenetic to really chill down and get the chill memes, but Milk seems to get it. There's a Hidden Wall, which is, he's kind of a super whale, and he's always like complaining about how we don't get enough free stuff, which is like, I mean, I think the complaints are kind of out there for it's like, why don't we get 1 million free coins every time we log in? But it's like, you know, it's whatever. He can complain. He actually pays a lot regularly. There's Joe, my self-proclaimed #1 fan, but just maybe that's just bias I'm mentioning him. But you know, he's one of the regulars that talks even during dead periods. There is Shokon. He is the big Yasuyori / Ashigara fan. Look at me listing all these Housamo server folks as if they were Housamos themselves. That just goes to show you how much I like hang out there and talk to them. Man, I would love 1 million free coins. Well, you are getting one every day technically. I know I said that facetiously, but the coin dungeon is there. Just saying, you can get it. It's pretty much free to get it. Bare minimum effort to clear those dungeons. Lots of Leecha lovers. Also, I mean, I wouldn't mind 1 million free coins on the daily. Same here. I wouldn't mind them being generous nowadays. Like, that was more of a ridiculous request last year, but this year, it's like, you know, there's just so many more units you'd want to seed, and it's like everyone's doing it. They keep on releasing units with 90% rates now. It's standard, and there's just so many units you'd want to seed, and I don't know. I feel like they should adjust for inflation now that, you know, there's just more units, more gameplay, more units to care about and all that, rather than doing it on the same rate. Because, you know, they up the rate for experience by releasing dungeons, and they up the rate for what's it called, other materials like hold on, I'm losing focus here. Yeah, they also up the rate for, is it just experience? Maybe it's just experience. Maybe I'm exaggerating it. Oh yeah, they also up the rate for seeds by releasing those new node quests. So I'm like, you know, if they're releasing more of those, why not release more sources for coin as well? And as for the Leecha lovers, I think that was just mostly over the past year. Believe it or not, Leecha was actually quite the controversial character when he was first released. Not for himself, but for his artist. But I will just leave it at that. That's a history that we should not re-explore. But yeah, suffice to say, he's a lot more popular, especially with like Carby around, who is also another super cool person there. Maybe a bit too cool. Maybe the real Housamo is the friends we made along the way. And don't worry, I'm coining it up. Very nice. But there's all sorts of folks there. And I think like right now, the server is kind of at its best in terms of the feel. Because the previous 3 years, there have been like, I don't know, there was a feel that a lot of people didn't like. But then again, who knows, maybe the feel I like now is someone else's problem. Oh yeah, I kind of remember that. Don't know the details, but I don't say more. Let the things. Yep, pretty much, just like Shino. We don't talk about Licho, no. But just there you go again. Or whatever he says when he gets it. No, how could I? What? the Shino comment. Oh come on! I made that joke like 2 years ago. It's so obvious. Chino. The only thing about Chino that will never die is the jokes regarding his death. But you could probably expect to find me talking a lot more there next week because I will have run out of dungeons to do, and yeah, I probably just would want to be lazy there after all these streams. Honestly, I didn't like Licho that much in the Jiangxi event. Babylon and Tetsuak definitely took the spotlight for me. I mean, I liked all the characters in the Jiangxi event. So, oh, no! Fucking spam. Yeah, ignore that. That was just some spam call. My phone blocker did not block. Genuine proof there that you. I'm actually doing this from my phone. By the way. But that was alarming. My heart dropped there. Oh yeah, what I was about to say. I really like all the characters there. Their special quests were really great. Although honestly, Tetsuak was just a bit mostly horny in his special quest. But his actual story in the event was quite sad. We actually learned about his background, about his mother, and the truth behind why he wants to die with the person, because he just doesn't want people to die without him anymore, which is really sad. Babylon's story was also quite beautiful in terms of some people didn't like her as a character, and before this event, anyways, I thought she was kind of like, where's this mom act coming from? It's kind of annoying and kind of weird too. But she like opened herself up more there in that event that showed that she knew it was all just an act, and she was thankful that we were playing along, and it was quite sad of like her losing a child. I think that's what she was implying and why she was seeking that in others. As for Licho, I think Licho's arc was also quite nice too, in terms of them reflecting on the importance of having a complete stranger to talk to as opposed to someone close, because we value friendships, but there's like the importance of having someone separate and divorced from the topic to open up to and all that, so that you don't get caught up over your expectations of the people and all that. And I think that was Licho's whole arc in terms of kind of being lacking that confidence around the people he wants to impress. I've changed up my team now to account for our money cat. I'm currently using Christmas Jiraiya, Christmas Eye Gear, and Summer Thunderbird for damage sweeping. I hope none of them are charging unnecessarily, but other than that, that should be probably fine. Yeah, this game is strangely great at really getting into its character psychology, I feel. That's not necessarily true, it's just some events are good because not all events are written by the same people. The Jiangxi one had probably some of the best character writing. Extravaganza is still the worst. I will stand on that up to my grave. Extravaganza was such a shit story. Oh god. And I really liked it specifically especially for Valentine's Slip. Yeah, Valentine's Slip was quite good story-wise. I know people complained about its story originally when it was being fan translated, and I was like, really, is it formulaic? And when I finally saw it, it kind of was, but I think they did it fine enough. Like, it's a topic that's not really talked about very often. It's in like a game, even in a game like Housamo, the topic of first love and how you're supposed to react to it, because your first love really is going to be a very different experience for every other romantic thing you handle in the future, because it's going to be like your precedent, your anchor point of how you handle things. While I do have to go back to Jiangxi, let's see. I will say that I became more warm to Macroik after reading the event for Kengo, and I will say Kengo definitely my favorite summoner, and no Nuncius. Good for the Nuncius, and also Kengo is like the only well-developed summoner. I swear to God, it's like Ryota's is all about food until it's about festivals, and it's all about him making memories. And it's like, dude, I'm right here. You don't need to take pictures of everything. What is this? Well, you were never like this in previous events. What the heck? And then he just like seemed randomly forceful, which that was not like the opposite of how he was before. But yeah, Kengo was like not even among the summoners, but among all the characters in this game, he probably had the most impressive, beautiful, and well-rounded growth. But yeah, as for the story of Valentine's, appropriate music, by the way. I think the story was good in the beginning with I really did like that whole battle arc with everyone fighting each other in the streets. Macroik's personal arc was a bit confusing, but I think that was the point in terms of him, being unsure with his choices, hence his own story being unsure. But that's just part of what it means to be unsure of your choices. But I did think it was very suddenly derivative of a Valentine time slip in its story. Sudden exception in the end where they face their evil twin self or something, and then they're trying to confront themselves, and everyone's stuck in it, and they have to do it to escape. And I don't know, it's very recycled, especially since I just did the previous story, Valentine time slip, like the week before. Which one was Extravaganza? The Behemoth Z's debut? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the Behemoth Z's. People usually call it Festa because that's the Japanese name for it, but Extravaganza is the official English translation for it. Shiro and Jamboree seemed good no further because... Oh, thank you, Prisma, thank you. See, I didn't say anything about Shiro specifically because it was just, I never saw Jamboree yet. I don't... Well, most of us, I'm sure, hasn't, except for the fan translation people. But, I'm fingers crossed that his story turns out good. And, Prince was giving me a bit of hope for that, but no more than that, please, because I do think impression of, like, what to expect from people is also a bit of a spoiler. They were trying to push Ryota as a romantic person, but Ryota works better as a usual friendly self. I think McCroy is afraid to grow up, but that's how I internalized it. Yeah, I mean, I can see it that way. Ryota being a romantic person was definitely forced, I think. There was like a tiny bit of justification, like a tiny bit, in like the main story where he's like, I'm always someone's friend, but why can't it be the main one? And then we're like, if you choose so, it's like, yes, you are. But then, I don't know. Even if we say that, that's what we say. It's not necessarily, Ryota himself changing to be more forceful. So it was weird either way. But yeah, my correct internalizing it, that's one interpretation of it. I don't think it's wrong. It's just, I don't know. My Kroik's entire storyline was a bit vague. I wish I could say it better, but like I gave my time for it. I read it out loud and I paused and thought about it. And I was like, wow, my Kroik's really doesn't really make sense. At first, it's a bad thing. Then it's a good thing that he's having like split thoughts. Then it's I don't know. It was a good thing. Then it was a bad thing. That was a good thing. And like, him saying it was a good thing that it was like he had split thoughts, so that because that's what youth is all about. But then, Kengo getting upset and then learning it was like something that was holding him back from a true victory. But then him learning on that, yes, it's fine to have double choices. So I don't know. The messaging there was a bit vague, but I think, again, that's part of the whole point. The whole youth thing is being unsure, and that's fine. You still don't need to be certain about things. As for untranslated events, Mr. Christmas and Sunshine Christmas have been some of my favorite characterizations with Thompson and Yasuo each, but we'll get to it, hopefully. No spoilers! But yeah, I know. It's kind of funny how much they really don't want to translate Christmas events. Hopefully we don't end up with another Christmas event with no translation. Because there's like, unlike every other kind of category event, well, besides Valentine's, I guess, they have to translate it on Christmas, right? They can't really appropriately release the story translation on any other time than that. So, that's why getting translations for other events, like summer events, should be fine whenever, but not really Christmas. I really like Shiro, and I think his crush on the protagonist is cute, especially since it seemed like a love/crush at first sight kind of deal. I will just say this, Ryota saw him first. But, yeah, I think it is a need to still harp on that love at first sight thing. That's not something that is really seriously considered nowadays. Now that we have like a plethora of different choices, love at first sight isn't really a thing that Housamo pushes, except for Shiro, or Echo in this case as well. But yeah, I'm very excited for even translations, but who knows when they'll come. Certainly not now, apparently, for Fashionista. For Fashionista. Rest in peace. Shiro, at least in the main story, feels like they never know what to do with him, so I always feel underwhelmed when he shows up. Well, let's review what Shiro did in the main story. Shiro randomly thought he killed someone because of something like that was found or some shit. And then they're like, no, he didn't kill anyone. It was just part of the game, and that's just like basic knowledge now that somehow he didn't know. And the whole leg thing, whoever's leg it was or whatever appendage was dismembered and found, was never talked about again. And then it suddenly, their plot veered off into them stopping an exception that kind of came out of nowhere. And Toji was also just like kind of gutting him through the whole process. And then he kind of fucked off for a while, talking to the wise men and just learning about guilds through there. And then I don't even know what he did. I don't even know what happened in the chapter 5 at all anymore. Not 5, chapter 4 with the Aoyama missionaries. I'm sure he was getting information again, but he really wasn't relevant until like chapter 3 is Ikebukuro, 4 is Aoyama. I guess it's chapter 4. He like disappeared for a while, and then he only became really relevant again in chapter 7 when he got controlled by Yogyo-san's his memories. And that's more like Yogyo's thoughts development than Shiro's at that point. Although in chapter 8 he kind of came out of nowhere, and then he was like, suddenly he's perfectly in sync with Yogyo's thoughts. I never really fully understood that. Being able to suddenly speak with him on a regular basis. At least that's what it seemed like. He just randomly yelled out Akashic Records, and then the game feature was implemented, of course, then and there. And then he was, again, just mostly coordinating the guild things again. We never really got too much personal interactions with him, is the trend I'm seeing after reviewing all this. Random game theory. That dismembered corpse was the protagonist's previous body. I don't have any proof on it, but it sounds like a detail a game like this would do. I really hope they touch on that again, because it's such a gaping plot thread that's not really been touched all this time. I do think it will bear extreme importance in some way if it ever comes back, but I also think it's at risk of just being a completely forgotten plot thread. Dungeon story are also them bonding with the exceptions. Spoiler! I haven't seen it yet. Don't say that. Don't say that. How can you do this to me? But it's fine. I think that was kind of a given anyways, because it was just like suddenly in chapter 11, Kengo and Thor are like, yo, buddy, we're talking now as if we're buddies and friends, and not just like a giant, freakishly large exception that is going to destroy the world. So that was a bit strange, and obviously there needed to be some sort of connection with them. But it's a bit weird, because I would presume that would have happened after you do the Ikebukuro dungeon missions, story quests. But we can clearly see Shiro and Yogyo's thoughts kind of in sync with each other in chapter 8. And I don't think the dungeon came out until after chapter 8, so maybe it's just a flashback kind of thing. Those story things. So like, the corpse got sent to the We're Now loop. Wow, spelling meant to say the current loop. Yeah, perhaps. Don't worry. It's okay, Prisma. You didn't really spoil me, like I said. It was kind of implied that there was some connection going on there anyways. Or maybe it's gonna tie back into the break storyline. Who knows? Maybe? I don't know. The break storyline, what was he? The break storyline's a bit hard to follow. It's like he's supposed to collect the memories for some reason, which we don't really know. It seems like he's related to the three true geniuses in that way. Either that or the game masters. But he's also connected to the Thor, or not Thor, but some sort of like god from that world. Odin, was it? I don't know. But they had some sort of wolf, and they used the wolf's dead body to make break. It's very confusing. Yeah, something like that. Odin from Yggdrasil? Maybe it was Odin. It was one of the characters from Yggdrasil anyways. And they had some sort of two different animals. I remember one of them being a wolf, and that was supposed to be Break, apparently, or, the dead body of that wolf was going to be Break. And Odin was trying to interact in that world because he wasn't allowed to go inside because of someone else this permitting his existence there. I can't really remember the details because there's just a lot of details like that in the game that they go in and out, but it seems like, you know, right now it holds no present significance that, you know, you can't really remember it that well anyways in the end. He isn't allowed from Piran, because Piran has his role as in Chapter 9. How do you guys remember these details? But yeah, that sounds about right, probably. I don't know. Like, I did the story as well, but it's like, I feel like, I just have shit memory as compared to other people, I don't know. I feel like I did a good job trying to remember all the details, I don't know. That's a name. I can remember his name. I'm a very bizarre lexicon of useless information. I'm sure this information will be useful in the story later, but right now it's just random tidbits that, you know, it's not explored and will have significance in the future, but right now it's just, who knows. Yeah, the white-haired dude's existence doesn't let him in Tokyo. Odin notice. Yeah. So, Break went in his stead, but also apparently Curran modified him somehow. I'm still unsure about how Break got into contact with the rule makers at first to become part cyborg. Was it specifically the rule makers that he got in contact with? I feel like he was like, you know, involved with all three guilds, but I don't really get it either. Maybe he's collecting information for the guild, for the rule makers specifically, but those are details that I have forgotten, honestly. So Break, I read that. Maybe it was talked about, but I don't really remember the details. That is the name of the stream now. Don't remember. I don't know her. It's okay, Break has amnesia too, so we all forgot. Amnesia solidarity. I mean, you know, I trust Tosmo's writing. It's like, even though there's a lot of, you know, seemingly important details that we don't even know the relevance that has been given like that, there also has been like tangible progress in the plot, right? Like, starting with Chapter 9. Chapter 9 was just an introduction to the crafters, which is kind of pointless. It was really just an introduction to two things primarily. The warmongers in terms of them making their first move, as well as our connection with Lil Salmon, and how like this needs to be the final loop. And we also happened to learn Double Dragon there. And then in Chapter 10, that had importance in us actually taking the offense in breaking the balance between the three guilds by giving one of them an overwhelming advantage by surrendering ourselves to the warmongers. And that had, you know, downpouring consequences from there. You know, between their pacts being shaken and that causing all out war that would lead to the events of Chapter 11, which was, you know, them being flanked by all sides by both the rule makers and the invaders. Primarily the rule makers, actually, I think. and then them enacting their plan to try to destroy the world. That was only part of the Warmongers' plans. Some of them were not in and out of those who could actually stop it. So yeah, we learned more about conflicts of interest there, as well as just what Mahakala is and what the nature of the Warmongers is further in terms of control of people. So I think there's a lot of tangible progress in terms of the main story. So I don't think the story's going nowhere. I just, there's a lot of side details, like the thing with Odin and Break, that makes me feel a bit like, I need to remember this, but for how long? How many more years until this becomes super relevant? Let's see. Oh yeah, I gotta remember that Odin's birds are also in his mind. Yeah, that was the other animal, I think. Birds? Well, it might have been birds, might have been something else. Overall, Break is a weird amalgam of Odin's familiars and utopian tech. So yeah, that amnesia was warranted. If that's his nature, then yeah, I can see what you mean. Oh, actual serious game theory. I think that Mephistopheles has a similar role or purpose to Furufumi, since he seemed to know how to take duo to Mahakala. Furufumi's role was just like being able to predict the future. It didn't end up having too much importance in the end. It more like was kind of a symbolic gesture of like, you can break your own fate or something like that. But Mephistopheles' role was a bit weird in that story. He kind of just showed up to lead us to Mephistopheles, as he said, and then did pretty much nothing else. As for the reason why they wanted to destroy the world, or all of Tokyo anyways, with the moon, what was the reason for that? I think that I got the impression it was just Bertro's personal wish to destroy everything. I'm not entirely sure if that was the case. I'm not entirely sure then why everyone would want to play along with it in the guild, among the Warmongers. Most of everyone anyways. End the game and bathe everything in darkness. Did they want to end the game? It felt like one of the things that... Well, I guess all the guilds want to end the game in a way, but in their own kind of victory. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why they wanted to destroy all of Tokyo and bathe it in darkness in the first place, if that really is the case. I think it was just Bertra wanting to be done with everything. I mean, that's the impression I got too, but then that makes me think pretty much like 50% of the Warmongers cooperated with that for some reason. Between Mephistopheles and Yoritomo. Then maybe it was just those two after all. Maybe they have a different agenda from Warmongers in terms of trying to destroy everything rather than trying to win. Because like everyone else, I guess, now you think about it, it's like are just the underlings between Tanatomu and Yasuyori. Naja literally did nothing the entire story except, what? It's already over! So, and let's see, Shiva was used entirely just as a distraction. So I guess Shiva was also not in the know. Well, not entirely as a distraction. He was also supposed to make some kind of fused exception with Mahakala. But I don't think Shiva was like in the know for that plan in that sense. So now I think about it, yeah, I think very few people actually knew about the plan. Which makes me think it's not really a Warmonger's plan in the end, it was just a specifically coordinated kamikaze attack. But that begs the question of why Mephistopheles and Yoritomo would want that. Well, in the very least, it seems like Yoritomo didn't consider the plan a failure. He had more plans on top of that, so maybe it was just a stepping stone with everything else that would follow after he repositioned everyone else. Because, like, he never really did think, like, oh no, I didn't expect this, or something like that from the end of Mahakala. So maybe it's just There's more steps to be had with what he's thinking. But Mephistopheles is a big question mark. The kiss with Shivo, if you decide to kiss his helmet, is so funny for me to think about. I never got to see that because I was like, I want to kiss his body because that sounds extremely horny. So I did. I don't know, every single time was a kiss on the lips, and there was a kiss on the lips option. It was like, wait, you can kiss his body? That sounds like extremely erotically horny, that I will do that instead. I mean, they still made it a bit steamy, but just the mental image of passionately making out with the helmet's funny. Hot man under helmet or not. Well, you know, people like their superhero mask things and all that. Keep the mask on, as they say. I like the kissed lips option with Shiva because he asks you to go more, if I recall correctly. It's just, I don't think there's really an easy way to replete that option. There's like a lot of story before that point, so I would, unfortunately, would rather not repeat all that just to see that again. Oh, basically, you do kiss his helmet, but then MC goes the neck and closes the area around the neck. That's peculiar. Well, for those that have saw the chest, I would say, like, it was pretty good then too. He was like, he literally like moaned when he did that. That was pretty good. What part of the body do you kiss? That's a secret between just you and Shiva. Has Archie archived it? I'm pretty sure he only picked one choice. But yeah, he has archived every single past event so far, so it should be there as well. Yeah, that's muscle kiss was essentially just it was foreplay. I was like, it's like you're watching a porno. That's like the scene you see directly before they start slamming each other. But yeah, now I guess, you know, the warmongers weren't actually destroyed or annihilated, unlike the berserkers, which just randomly became unannihilated randomly at one point. But so yeah, I guess it makes sense to kind of end it like that, where it wasn't a plan by the warmongers that failed, but rather a specific small group within it that had a lot of power that failed it. And well, I guess it was mostly just Bertro. And, you know, Yoritomo and Mephistopheles seeming to continue that plot thread into something, perhaps, later in the future. Because, you know, they can't just not continue functioning. There's still one of the 3 tree guilds. That would kind of, like, remove the tension for the other 2 guilds. That does make me wonder how they'll write the invaders and the rule makers, though.
やったよな後輩。俺とお前は最高のパートナーだよ。さあ、準備は大丈夫かい後輩。合体だ。合体だ。
I'm just currently thinking of the new semester units that have released in the past. Last year, 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. So last year we got a lot of units that tried to equalize the field after Lianen and Bale changed everything. Well, mostly Lianen. We got units like Yoritomo, who could just buff everyone without even needing to move, and I believe Babonian is surprisingly a popular choice too, just for being a column cleaner. There was Akia Gongen. No one really ended up using him, but his kit is pretty neat. Unfortunately, just never found a use this past year in terms of being able to push people on the enemy's turn. We also had a new mentor, Kruznik, which was really cool in terms of him being able to change snipe range. He's a regular in my mentor team right now. We had Wolfsaslav, which possessed everyone in like white slash range. I believe he's popular as a tank and hits decently hard as well. And then there was Masanori, which became go-to what's called doubt slash possessor, at least before Fushi came. Very accessible, strong debuff as a result. I'm surprised they never made another unit with Akia enemy phase skill untapped potential. Yeah, I'm surprised too, but that's also technically incorrect. They did release one other. It was what's it called? Nodens. He also does an enemy turn push, I believe, or something like that. Or is it pull? I forget which, but he does something on the enemy turn start. I'm back. I went to get food. What did I miss? I just brought up the topic of thinking about past new semester units now that the new one's coming up soon, supposedly. So yeah, I was just reviewing how strong the units were in terms of them equalizing the field after 2 years ago's new semester, which was kind of, it changed the meta up significantly because of Lianen's existence. But this, the previous year, made things a lot more accessible for people, and in terms of just offering a lot more choices that weren't just Lianen, and a lot more mentor choices as well. You know, the one new mentor, which is quite strong and not just kind of pointless like Jean was, or what's it called, fucking 3-star dead. There was also so I mentioned a few of them already. I mentioned the possessors, Wolf as well as Masanori. I mentioned Akiha. I mentioned Kruznik. I mentioned what's it called, the buffer Yoritomo, and Bunyan. Am I forgetting anyone else? Oh yeah, there's Team Los. He made all range charge. He was another unit that made all range charge super accessible, because before then, you know, it was still required specific setups, and not everyone had an all range setup that was reliable. But Team Los giving you like a really strong one every 3 turns for free. You know, I see people use them in 1, 2, 3 teams where they need someone to charge on the 3rd turn. And, with Christine in the 1st one, I believe. So there's a lot more choices in terms of strong plays now because of the last new semester. Because 2 years ago, with that new semester, they just completely changed up the standards of what units could do. And it was only restricted to like a few units like Lianen, that it felt like it was a very centralized kind of game at that point, where if you either had Lianen or you didn't. And and the challenge quests were either super hard or super trivial as a result. That was the year of Jamboree, I believe. But in that banner, there was Lianen and Bale, but there were also other units like Nausea for some reason, which still hasn't really found a use except for some really meme cases. There was Yoritome, which is, I mean, he ended up being, at least in my demonstration, he ended up being more useful just because of his countdown. I mean, the beginning of on the on-leave meta, where Mephistopheles, that's a unit I forgot, Mephistopheles, he ended up, inflicting countdown on everyone he leaves, but Yoritome kind of did it first in shot range. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably just Bale and oh yeah, there's also Daikoku as well. He was quite strong for being a CP battery, especially if he got combo. Then he could give like 48 CP every time he missed. But yeah, the year before then, new semester wasn't like super strong. It was quite strong actually. It changed things up too, but it was like the one with Corporicur as well as Avarga, and I can't really remember anyone else. Oh yeah, Tsukiyomi. So they were like decent choices, but they kind of fell out of favor quite quickly. Cool, something just disconnected and reconnected on the computer, and I don't know what it was. But yeah, the reason why I was bringing up all these past units was because, I don't know, I'm trying to see the trajectory of what the new semester units can be like coming up. So we had like units that were like kind of okay, pretty good, but not necessarily like changing everything forever, with Tsukiyomi and Corporicur and Avarga, and perhaps a few other units that I can't remember off the top of my head. And then we had like, there was like another one before then, but that one I can't remember. Maybe that Christie or something. And then after that we had the Lianen new semester, which there was no going back after that. And then this past one we had just a whole bunch of units that just kind of really showcased how fun the game could be in terms of fun mechanics and strong, giving us a bunch of new strong characters. So if they're going towards that direction, then maybe we'll just get a lot more meme mechanics as well that are equally as strong as Lianen. So that'll be fun, mixing both meme and bustedness. They tend to introduce new status effects, right? Also a buffer too. Yeah, that's generally the case. Last year we received Mephistopheles, the year before Lianen Shi. The year before that, we didn't really get a buffer, I think. Can't remember anyways. But new status effects, I'm not sure if that was released then, but there was a good chance that, it was the best case scenario of making they kind of reinvented the position of the use of possession back then, because possession was kind of a dead status before new semester was released last year. But they made it more available with just making possession more like easily inflictable with Wolf, or coming with the debuff Doubt, which actually made them hit harder. The year before that, we didn't really receive any new status effects. We kind of just got the existing ones and bundled them all together. Actually, we got buff reversal, so that one was pretty strong actually. And it still was kind of strong, but eh. So this year, I'm anticipating, I don't know, if we get another like Lianen / Mephistopheles, that'd be kind of annoying. I don't know. Lianen is strong, but I don't want to call her boring to play, even though she is. I mean, she makes the game fun in other ways, but it's just, there are a lot more interesting gimmicks now. Like, it was pretty cool before, but having that freedom of movement, because like before Lianen, pretty much almost no one really had extended movement like that except for Ghost. But now extended movement is just a much more common thing. I mean, I know it's just walk on, but there's also like movement expansion is much more common as well. And you know, moving for the first few turns is all that matters anyways. So I think it's lost its novelty of being able to damage stack with Lianen and having that much freedom movement. Because now we have a lot more movers and we also have a lot more damage stacks. Like fucking Nomad is like Lianen in the sense of giving it to two different people left and right. Something crit level with concentration and limit. And he also like gives them the ability to pierce those kind of buffs as well, like evasion and all that. But he also has that movement expansion ability on phase start. Or is it? I think it's on arrival actually. So it's like, you know, I mean, I know there's still a difference in rarity there, but it's just not really a new thing anymore to do something like that to buff a single unit. So I'm expecting a lot more fun units again. Not necessarily strong, but quite possibly strong. Strong, but primarily fun and gimmicky. And not shit like Nausea. Definitely no shit units like Nausea, please. I remember when Tanguni's new released. I don't think he was in New Semester. He was just in the Ikebukuro, Battle of the Bells. But yeah, his thing was just being like a worse now. He just damaged himself. I don't even remember if he healed other people, but he gave them 2 defense buffs. And not even all the time. One of them was rare and the other wasn't even guaranteed. Yeah, Tanguri's unit's purpose was like big question mark. Oh yeah, I guess he was the first one to have movement expansion, but you had to wait a turn for him to actually use his charge first. No thanks, that is so pointless. No, he wasn't. What I mean is, I remember when he released and I was like, wow, him fast. You mean with his movement expansion? I mean, yeah, but he did so little damage. And also, it was just like, I don't know. Like, the movement expansion is good, but it's also like you have to wait a turn, so that completely killed the hype of when you'd want to use them. Because movement expansion is most important on the first turn, so that you can reposition from your shit turn 1 positioning. A big time battery, there's a lot of better batteries than he is. Doesn't he only give like 16 every time he moves? He has to move. So that's kind of like, just for that much. Like Koku gives more just by doing nothing. And Ritsu is one lucky person for being on top of a list like this.
I have a contact. Tied up.
You know what I would be excited for? There was a lot of new mechanics they released in a bunch this past year, and they haven't fully explored all of them yet. Well, for one, I'd like them to revisit the enemy turn start ability. They definitely wasted potential for Explorer. But now more importantly, they released those HP dependent and CP dependent skills. Those I think are really cool. Because the CP meter I always thought was like it looks like a resource meter, doesn't it? Kind of like a mana meter, and each sounder essentially use it just like that, which is really cool. But before that was released, it was kind of just like there was not really any benefit to having 23 CP versus 70 CP besides being close to your charge. It really adds some nuance to what you can do now. So I'd like to see more skills like that kind of makes me work like spells. And we already have exhibited from the Nomad Evo of cases where they need to be at max HP, which is an interesting concept to play around. But although I don't think his Evo is sufficiently useful enough to really make use of that. And then we have the reverse case of like giving someone kind of like a permanent limit effect with Jiraiya's case, where he only gets crit plus if he's super low. Those are really fascinating to me. My favorite is Ket sharing some buffs around. I love the little kitty. He's okay. He's okay. I don't know. 2 buffs is okay. Just a bit weird to play with. I don't like his turn 1 positioning potential, since he can only give one of the damage buffs then. And only if he's lucky. Also agree, there's a lot of things he can still do. But yeah. I will say that that Christmas event is probably the first Christmas event and I 100% actually like in terms of their lineup. Whether it's by their design or by their kits or both. Because if we're looking at previous years, Sunshine Christmas, what does that even have? That Itsama, which is good, but he's a permanent unit. And he was only good because Kanan Tankaroi existed. And then, who else was even in it? It was like, we had Dead, who was kind of shit, honestly, because his rates wasn't even guaranteed, even though it looked like it should have been, for his Ardor spread. And then he had like some stupid burn weakening thing, which wasn't even that good. And who else was on it? I'm struggling to remember who else was on Sunshine Christmas. Oh yeah, Yasuyori, but it's like, he relies on his charge to get that magic reach damage, which is like, I don't know. It's like, we have fucking Balor now who can do it without even reaching his charge to do a lot more damage than him. And I don't know, it's kind of annoying hearing all those buffs activate. And then, who else was even on it? Yesterday, Z's. Oh yeah, Z's and Choji, the most forgettable 4 stars. What the heck? What does, I'm pretty sure I covered Choji and all I can remember from him is like Blessing Advantage. Now, I will admit that he got more usage than I thought, because I guess because he was featured so much in different events, even if it's a minor role, he, ended up being useful for just doing solid damage. But so it's not like impressive damage, it's just like, it's okay. It's sufficiently good for drop quests. Blessing Advantage and what's it called? Blessing Strengthening and all that. And Z's, I don't even know. It's like she gives vigor sometimes when she attacks left or right, and she pulls everyone in just like Behemoth now. Even though we have a fucking, Boogeyman now who can just do that every turn. Seriously, like, rep Behemoth strats. Let's just get me Boogeyman from here on out. It's like, when have you ever really needed Behemoth to attack? So, you just put Boogeyman behind and he can fulfill his purpose equally as well. Personally, I like Mystic Christmas a lot in terms of lineup. Tomte is still a very strong non-unit. Oh yeah, I'm getting to that. So yeah, we're done talking about Sunshine. Sunshine is poo. Tomte, his debuff removal is still strong, but I feel like he got completely power crept in terms of debuff management when Jamboree Aizen released. I don't really see a use for him over Aizen now, since, he does it every turn versus him, which is like, I know it's all buffs, but you rarely get more than 3, unlike Aizen, who actually removes 3 every turn. And then, like, his buffs are like Ardor and Nourishment, but I forget the ranges of it. They're not like amazing ranges, and they're also not anywhere near guaranteed, not even that after seeding. So like, he's okay, but he doesn't even get this charge that fast either, since his only source of his charge is Ardor to self, which is like pathetically sad. CP, that is. And so like, I have him, he's still really good for being The one thing I think he still has utility for is just being a constant CP reducer. That's something we can have. We have a few units for, but they kind of, most of them rely on hitting the units. There's a strong utility was being able to reduce their CP without actually hitting them, and that is definitely something that something can do up front. Definitely not too far though, unfortunately. That you'd need someone like Marduk for that. But other than that, who else was in Mystic Christmas? iGear was, you know, he was like meme level strong, but his memes never really ended up being useful, even though he supposedly could be the strongest units for like one turn under test tube conditions. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see a use for iGear as much, since like copying buffs ended up being a lot less useful than giving it, since with giving things you can make a circuit, but was like copying from only one unit. I don't know, he's like him and C3 the only one can do it or something. I don't know. C3 does the reverse. Yeah, C3 was another unit, but like Tonkoro does his buff spread a lot more conveniently, I believe. Let me just read out these comments before I continue. My 85 turn clear of that one night Rose HTU was Tomty Police. I mean, I think I did something similar, except I did a, what's it called? Necros, just kind of sitting there menacingly as he hits him and gets countdown. What if a new unit, they insert a buff in a square? So like the skill activates and then they put buffs in one of the squares on your side. A buff in a square. So, and they put a buff in one of the squares on your side. Stuff like that, they sure can do a lot more. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. I'm gonna read this a bit more carefully. Insert a buff in a square. One of the squares on your side? What buff? Like what buff specifically? I'm not sure. Like we already have buffers that can buff individual squares, so I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. But yeah, going back to Mystic Christmas, besides iGear and C3, which is like, I don't know, I haven't really seen C3 usage, but it's like, I'm sure he's strong, but I have Conan Tongoro, so it's not really useful for me. And Tomte, you know, he's good, but also a lot of his use has been power crept as well. I feel like there should be more, but if I can't remember, they're probably not amazing anyways. And the year before then was definitely probably the worst, was Ikebukuro Christmas. Just like, what was it even? Melusine is still shit, even on release it was shit, but that's because they decided to do the all range effects for the first time there, and it wasn't even that good. In her case, she definitely underwhelmingly used it. OMG, but what if they add my OC to the game? I don't know about that. We can, let's see. Going back to Battle of the Bells, I'd say that definitely had the most underwhelming kits ever. Kind of solidified my dislike for Christmas units. Pollux was, like, he has his Evo now, but before then, it was like, I don't know about it. Somehow Pollux was one of the better ones, and he wasn't even amazing. And Claude was quite good, but that's because we didn't really have any damage buffers back then that could reliably single target like that. Power crept by Lianon, as we all know now. And where are the other ones? Yeah, I don't know. And speaking in historical terms, another mobile game, there are some units where they insert buffs or debuffs and orbs, which are things that you use to utilize your skills. Oh, you mean like totems, like things that change the terrain so it acts in a certain way? I guess that could be a really cool concept. Yeah, kind of make the challenge quest of your own map. I like the idea, if that's what you mean anyways. I love Christmas units because that's where most of my luck is, and I think Santa costumes are cute. I will have to disagree with you about the Santa costumes thing, because I feel like they kind of force it in. It's, I don't know, most of them are kind of whatever. Some few people pull it off right because they have creative liberties done to them. Like, I like Bentins and I like iGears a lot, but for the most I feel like a lot of them are kind of hackneyed, like with Itzamas and the rest. So you form patterns with orbs to use skills, And if the orb has had a debuff, the unit that used those orbs get those statuses. It sounds rather complicated, but I guess it could work. We have units who bestow skills like Onsen Daikoku and Christmas Nomad. Yeah, I mean, those ones especially I'm more excited to see. Last year we didn't have them with new semester units, but those are like the that's the game-changing skill trigger, or skill effect rather, being able to give skills up front to other people. Because you have like near infinite potential once you start giving skills to other people. Because those skills could be like detrimental or good or something neutral. One thing I'd love to see is a relationship chart completely reworked from a visible buff system to a passive buff debuff system. I talked about this in spoiler chat in my blog. I see. I don't really look at spoiler chat very often for obvious reasons. The only time I look at it is maybe when I'm sharing things from the data mine, or if I see name drops. Oh, or like Shalotl with a grand crit on move right. Yeah. That's like one of the strongest cases. I think that's one of the first times we received it. I think that event might have been the first time we actually did receive that, yeah. That effect of being able to give skills to others. And they did it right, because I feel like that was strong up front, unlike a lot of other times when they tried to introduce new paradigms. But yeah, I'm not entirely too sure what you mean by from a visible system to a passive one. I guess I will just have to read it, if I remember anyways. But like being able to have benefits and disadvantages on party, like having 2 berserkers on the team being able to give your team a permanent and invisible berserk status. Well, I don't see why it needs to be invisible. Unless you mean like you want it to be a separate buff from like the actual berserk status. If that's the case, then I think it would be better just to have like a different, like a separated off section within the status list specifically dedicated towards community relationships. But yeah, I do think that's a neat idea in terms of doing community specific interactions. When I say community, by the way, I'm talking about like what's listed in the research profile, whether they're in the same school or in the same guild. Also, not to overpower the system, have one passive available at a time per party. It's just spitballing really well. And the sky's the limit when you're just theory crafting things. But yeah, if they go all out, I completely forgot how recent the skill acquisition thing was. But it is fairly recent, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, was it really the first event, the Hot Spring event? Hell, Hot Springs? Because that's like less than half a year away. I'm just like so used to it now because it's such an essential part of the game, and it feels so natural to give skills to people, and they're extremely strong. It feels like wrong to not play the game with it anymore. But yeah, I would love if new semester had like a full feature of just those kind of units that were completely played around, giving all the enemies a certain skill, or gave all your teammates a certain skill that forced you to play in a certain way. Like for example, imagine a skill that gave forced movement to all your units to the right at the turn start. That'd be silly. It wouldn't be like, it's not a buff, it's not a debuff, it's just a neutral effect, which is interesting in a way like that. LifeWonders announced they also wanted to have guilds and schools affect gameplay. Ooh, they did? Now that would be cool. If they said they wanted to, then I'm sure they'll implement it, and I am all for it.
I have control.
What other skills granting skills are there, apart from Onsen Daikoku and Shalotl? I honestly can't remember. There's also Crispus Nomad, who gives units left and right, as well as to himself, because he doesn't need to have that skill, the ability to pierce all defense buffs. Let's see. There's also, what else is there? There's a few ARs that actually give it, I believe. Something about, like, strengthening your attack on the next turn or some shit like that. Pretty much every single resistance status is skill acquisition. Because the way they implement a resistance to a status, it's by giving them the skill that, you know, makes them immune to it. So if we're counting those two, then yeah, there's actually a lot then. Even the Guts Resistance AR, for example. Then we would also have Soul who had it with his ability to remove all defense buffs. In this Valentine's event, we also had a Boogeyman bestowing himself the skill to pull units in, but only if he misses in the turn previous to it. And that's only achievable with all those like conditionals because it's a skill that is acquired rather than, you know, something that is permanent.
I have control.
What am I doing? You know, there's Ketchi, of course, who gives... He has like the most fanciest of them all, I believe, giving people in front of him a skill that lets them give allies and self left and right of them some kind of buff, whether it's ardor or concentration or tenacity. Strengthening skills are not granted skills. I'm talking about the resistance skills. Sarata Hiko with nourishment strengthening, and other strengthening like Tangru's and crit strengthening. No, those aren't skill acquisitions, I believe, because those are just like buffs that what's it called? There's a specific parameter within the buff that like it says it only works when it has that skill, so it doesn't point to any skill. It's just self-sufficient on its own. But the resistance ones, they actually do have to point to a different skill. That is, you know, normally not accessible as someone's base kit, but is only accessible through that particular status effect. What are the other Christmas units we got? I'm trying to remember more examples. Yeah, Valentine's, Christmas Nomad was really the quintessential case of the best case he's brought so far, I believe. Well, besides Shalotl and crit and evasion. Oh yeah, leaked with his Evo. He received such a very peculiar Evo that, you know, well, one, it made him his it didn't change his base functionality of how I used him before, of just being a CP battler at every phase start, but it also made him give a damage buff. But on topic here, he also gives a buff to his allies, as well as a debuff to enemies, I believe. What is it? No, it's just 2 buffs to allies, I believe. One of the buff is a skill acquisition effect, where if they are defeated, then they give all their buffs to every other ally. So that would be a skill acquisition. And another one would be when they leave, then they remove all the buffs from the enemies. So yeah, those are very strong skill acquisition effects, and it's not even restricted to units, it's also Evos, which is, I think, cool. And there might be a few ARs like that too, including the resistance ones. But besides the resistance ones, I mean, is there a unit that you like, even though you know their kit is suboptimal, that you would still roll for? Goemon. If he gets a what's it called? If he gets a variant, then I'm pulling for him regardless of what his shit get maybe. But if you mean like units that currently exist, not really. There's not really any unit that's currently out that I would like super cool for. It's not a buff, it's a condition. Which are you referring to? Like in Fire Emblem Heroes, if unit has bonus, gains these effects. I'm speaking strictly from a game data standpoint, in terms of how these objects are handled. The way things like nourishment strengthening work is they are buffs. Like they are like listed as a buff, handled along the same way as other buffs are. It's just that they have a parameter that they only work, or they have a variable kind of condition depending on if there's like another status present. In fact, that's how doubt works, I believe, to work in two different ways, whether they have possession or not. Because doubt actually reduces their damage if they don't have possession, and that only works because it's like if they have this, then it's like increase it. If they have possession, then increase the damage by 10 times. If not, then reduce it by 10 times. So it's like it's always doing something. I like the recommendation of just get the characters you like and think about kits later. I mean, I kind of just think about them simultaneously. Because it's like, I like this game as a whole, not just the characters. That's what I joined for, the characters, but the kits themselves are really fun and interesting. I generally do love the gameplay of this game. Tourism Mask, Ryota, and Krampus were 2017. Yeah, they were. Why? Not sure why you're bringing them up right now, but oh, Christmas units. Yeah. Well, Ryota was Ryota was not good before his Evo. Taurus Mask was not good even after his Evo. And Krampus, I don't know, he kind of did nothing and still does nothing. He's like the Stigma only after his Evo, not even a specific Evo to him, and he has like a shit ardor rate, and his special thing was just having different attributes depending on his rarity. So like, chase your husbands and then chase the kids kind of deal. I mean, yeah, I do that. It's just that I pretty much have all my husbandos I want at this point. Like, being primarily Leaked and Goemon, I already have Leaked's variant, so it's like, what am I gonna do? Pull forward more troops to them? I'm not like that. So unless they release like a second variant for him, or a variant for Goemon, I don't see myself like pulling just for the character regardless of kit for a while. Let's see. Agree, I do like the gameplay a lot as well. I just don't stress out too much if a fave character isn't that useful, is what I mean, but I really like when a team comes together. Oh yeah, for sure. I love team building in this game. That's why I'm like excited every time an event comes out and the anime is released, I'm reading it. It's kind of like a mini Christmas for me. Surprised to see what I will be reading from there. And then with my previous trilogy, I really like that one Toy Story meme. I don't want to play with you anymore. Me and Tsukuyomi.
I have got tied up. さあガチ儲けのチャンスだぜ。合体だ。合体だ。I have control. 合体だ。いけ。
For me, it's what enables me to use Kengo. I mean, my faves. I mean, you know, kind of same. It's just like, there's like, I don't generally change my strategy outright nowadays. I kind of just try to enhance my current ones. Like, you know, what's it called? My Kotara strategy still has existed since the beginning of time ever. It's just that the units around Kotara has changed a lot. Now it's guaranteed with Ryota, and now Leaked has his Evo, and the other unit can like switch depending on what kind of buffs I need at the moment. But then we also have Valentine Kengo, which was like a strategy that I picked up from last year ever since he released from there. And, you know, whoever can buff him without needing to move, that's also increased in relevance. So those are kind of my two go-to strategies, depending on like the map size and the expected amount of enemies to face. If it's like if I'm seeing like a large board size, then I'm probably gonna use Kotaro. But if it's like only a few targets, I'm probably gonna use Kengo instead. With that said, there's also things where I was like, if I know it's gonna be annoying to tank, then I switch to Kana and Tangoro and Itsamana because they are still hella busted. Like, still one of the most busted subs that don't really have a counter besides maybe Alice with her Evo. Or Shiva, of course. That is to say, you need to remove all their buffs at the same time for them to be dealt with. But there's not really a counter to that with anyone, let alone Tangoro and Itsamana. There is that new strategy with Christmas Itsamana and Jamboree Kagutsuchi. It's super strong. I might see myself using that strategy more. Right now my current ones are fine, but that is a rare example of me picking up a new strategy. For me, I'd probably only use that for like, what's it called? Things where I don't need phase 1, turn 1 charges because it's not really useful for that. Unless you're super lucky, but I don't really want to roll for luck for that case. And if you kind of want exceptional damage or a constant charge going off, that's for what's called phases that last for more than one turn. Kotaro's kind of, you know, expecting that they'll be defeated only like one turn per phase. But that setup could be quite useful if you know for a fact you're going to survive for more than one turn per phase. Yeah, sorry, I do mean Valentine's Itsamana. That was my bad. I was still in Christmas mode for some reason, but I do mean Valentine's Itsamana and Jamboree Kagutsuchi. I did actually test out mixing those two setups together, since you could bring two Itsamanas. They don't mix that well. Let's just say that. All the buffs that Tangoro is giving back to like the Itsamanas, that's gonna completely ruin the whole what's called being able to react with Valentine Itsamana and his ability to give damage buffs on like only on turn start. Since Kana Tangaro's thing is either like on move in Itsamana's case or after being hit in Tangaro's case.
笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。
Does this let me give Vikengo 20 buffs a turn? I mean, you probably only need like concentration and glint to really help Kengo get his things. But if you mean like gut spamming, yeah, Kengo's kind of good to roll with. I wouldn't say he's the best for perma guts though. He's just good if you want to be brainless and you're doing things first time. Still the best one for perma gut spamming, if you don't know already, is actually Kanan Tangro and Itsamna. Now, neither of them have guts, you may say. Well, just give them guts and then they can permanently juglet them. And unlike with what's called Jiangshi Krampus, who also can refresh his buffs, the thing is, because they're two units, Kanan Tangaroa and Itsamna, if one of them loses guts, the other one can have it. And also Tangaroa has this cheesy effect of being able to guaranteed revive everyone if he's fully seated and has concentration and glint, which it just so happens Itsamna can give. So if he's reviving Itsamna constantly, then that means it's like it's going to be extremely unlikely for both of them to lose guts simultaneously. Like Itsamna is probably going to have some HP, or if not, then Tangaroa will probably have HP as well. And in that case, it's like someone will always have guts and you can always refresh it in that case. It's kind of impossible to defeat unless, what's it called? They don't have debuff protection for things that, yeah, I think that's their biggest weakness, I guess. Debuff protection or gross buff removal. But generally that's not a threat from the enemy. And again, debuffs are so strong in that, you know, it may be debilitating for Kanan Tangara and Itsamna, but for any other team, it'd be a lot worse. So yes, that is his new Evo. He doesn't do that natively, but ever since his Evo, I always thought that was kind of ridiculously strong. I did a demonstration of it in a couple of videos, I believe. One of them was the second challenge quest for Valentine's Fantasy, and another was just a quick buff pilfering demonstration. And every time he moves, he refreshes all his buffs, so he kind of acts independently without requiring 2 units. But again, the downside is because he's only 1 unit, effects like guts, it's like it'll just be gone. He won't be able to get it back once it's gone. Holy shit, the wording for copy buffs for bestowing skills is so weird that I didn't understand that until now. Yeah, it's a bit weird, and in the wiki we kind of just went off of the annotated description, but they don't necessarily make sense for what it actually does in game. If you want clarification, at least in the proper wiki, I don't think I'll be in the backup wiki, but the proper wiki should have in more like user curated descriptions if you mouse over the individual statuses. It should say something like, because I'm pretty sure I wrote the bestowing skill thing in the wiki, you know, the user remembers a buff and then the remove, and that happens before he removes it or some shit, and he reapplies it. So he copies it all because, you know, if he removes it, then it's just gone. But so that copying ability is, or whatever it's called, it's there to help him remember it. I'm not really sure how it works internally, but that's the impression I got from using it in game, as well as all the other, you know, copy-based units.
I have a contact.
Oh yeah, definitely the best buff spammer in game is the Kanan Tangara Itsamna setup. If you have the what's called the Valentine Sakenchi AR. That one actually gives guts on face start and eats on to equip it, so very strong choice for that. Man, I love this song. And that breakdown right there. But yeah, if you want more details of the Krampus skill evolution, you can always just refer to the discussion video that we did on it. That's since you're new, Lewis, I'm not sure if you know about our discussion streams, because we do discussion streams. They're essentially just looking over bundles of new content all at once with discussion partners, which would be Urbi and Salgus and Moke. Usually we would do something like that for the new content this time, between the 2 new ARs, but there's only 2 ARs and there's 4 of us, so well, I'm probably just going to bundle these 2 new ARs into the next discussion we have, which is probably going to be new semester. But yeah, talking about the new ARs, I believe someone asked what the new ARs does. I already answered the first one, does gut structuring. The other one's not out yet, but we already know from looking at the game data from data mining, so, you know, a bit of a spoiler alert, but I don't care as much about spoilers when it comes to game data. Battle data. That one increases your CP progressively. I mean, they said it up front in the game, but specifically it increases it from like 2 CP on turn start all the way up until turn 10, then you get up to 20 CP turn start. And then it just remains at 20 CP for the rest. Nah, it's fine. I don't even have him. I just use him for some quests since he's there in my friends list, so why not use him? I mean, I think I used him for something like that at one point. I've used him a few times before just because he actually has absurdly strong personal damage, even though he doesn't have any moves abilities. But you know, he's been kind of powered up in that capacity, but then he got that really strong skill evolution. But yeah, I would say to that, I don't have him either. He's actually quite a good unit if you know how to use him with that new Evo, or even before that point. Anyways. He's quite strong personally, so he's definitely a unit worth taking out every now and then. He can also equip the Evasion Penetration AR, which, you know, also gives a combo. And that means that if you constantly move Krampus, whenever he activates that low rate of combo, he'll be able to permanently keep it. And that actually has some use for him because he has like a ability to remove buffs from the enemy every time he hits them. So he's able to like kill the enemy for the first hit and then remove their guts on the second hit. FYI, if you are not sure about the specific mechanics for that, guts, it's like if you have a skill on a unit that they can remove buffs, if they have 0 HP the enemy, then you are guaranteed to remove guts the next time you hit them with it on that turn. As long as, you know, they're still at 0 HP. It doesn't even matter what the effect is. It's like, it could be like remove buff to adjacent enemies instead of the actual one, but it will always be removing guts from that unit 100%, which is neat. Because, you know, trying to roll for removing guts is lame. I remember the at-host memo mentioning that he is quite strong, but you gotta learn to use him a bit. Yeah, you know, the buff refreshment setups are only as strong as the buffs you put into it. And if you don't know your buffs, then you're probably not going to get the maximum usage out of it. It might have been a bit difficult to tell with how much excessive editing I did in the second challenge quest video for Valentine Fantasy, but in there I actually did use 3 unusual buffs for Krampus to permanently keep up. That was kind of the entire point of the video. From Seth, he received Anchor because Seth bestows Anchor to everyone on phase start, so it doesn't even matter how far they are. And same thing for Hermes, who bestows what's called HP Loss Reversal. So he's able to permanently refresh that as well, even though it usually only lasts for 3 turns. So he's able to like mitigate any flat damage that comes his way completely, actually get healing from it. And then he also received one more. What was that other one? I'm starting to forget. There's damage reversal, there was Anchor. I know there was one more. What was it? Oh yeah, it was from Soda Hiko. He received what's it called? He received Purification, which is an acquired skill status, which lets you remove a debuff every turn start. So that was quite useful too for removing things like Fear if that ever happened. Since obviously he needs to move every turn to refresh his buffs. Oh god, this is such a beautiful battle theme. Soto Hiko is in fact the only one with a purification right now. They made it, it's kind of weird when they make a big deal, here's a new status, but then it's only like 1 unit. The same thing with fucking Shenong. Don't tell me there are gonna be new Shenongs where it's like they only have it. And again, Poison Reversal isn't that amazing anyways. So I do know there's someone with resistance to purification, but I just can't remember. I know, it's funny, it's like, here's the only unit who can it. By the way, someone resists it. It might be a Daikoku, but maybe not. Oh no, it's Toji. Halloween Toji. Which, you know, it's like, could kind of suck on him anyway since he needs a curse from himself. Can we talk about how Lucifuge doesn't have extra damage against poison or poison reversal either? Whack. Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of an early unit, and they gave him like a neat evo that made him like being able to be one of the few 3-star units that can inflict paralysis, and it was considered okay back then. I think Irby was like, you know, fawning over it. It was like, use Elusive Agents and Elite or something like that. But, you know, we have more paralysis choices now, I think, and paralysis isn't even that amazing compared to the many other choices we have now for strategies. So he could definitely use another evo. That was still during the age when they still did, you know, general skill evolutions, you know, based on a shared name of them. They haven't not done that in like a year now, so I'm pretty sure they just killed it off. Well, it would be harder to implement with newer units anyways, since it's like pretty much no one has a shared skill anymore among the new units. Besides, like, you know, their higher rarities and lower rarities of a single character. Imagine if they ever did a general skill evo for Blood of the Beast. I think it's a bit too late now. It might be a bit impossible because they already gave specific skill evolutions for some of them. So it'd be like they would somehow have to either, I don't know, give you the choice to pick one or the other, the general versus the specific one. Or like, I don't know, make you be able to reverse skill evolutions so you could get the other one, or just somehow give you both, but then that would just be a new skill entirely. But yeah, I think it's too late for Blood of the Beast to receive the general one. But yeah, some examples, or at least one example, is Tadatomo had Blood of the Beast because for some reason his 4-star didn't have Spiritual Dog Warriors, so instead they made that the skill specific evo to change him into like something orb related. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure there's a few other examples with Blood of the Beast as an evo. Maybe no, never mind. Cannot remember. Avenger ++. That was like their very feeble attempt at trying to skill evo, what's it called? Ahab, without making the 4-star Temujin busted, I guess. And as a result, Ahab is still mediocre, and now, ironically, Temujin has an evo that makes him more relevant for modern day use. That's the downside of doing general skill evos, or, you know, building a system that will rely on it. You can't really, you know, affect one without affecting the other, even if they're different rarities and they have different purposes. But yeah, you gotta, whoever told me that, I can't remember, let me just scroll this up. About the whole thing about LifeWonders saying they wanted to implement community. Yeah, I can't find that comment anymore. LifeWonders saying they wanted to implement community-based effects. You gotta link the source for me on that. I'd be interested in reading that. Oh, it's Prisma. Prisma. Based.
笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。ガチ儲けのチャンスだぜ。合体だ。合体だ。I have control. 合体だ。
If you could give a character a skill evo, given to those who already have one and to units who are good enough as it is to count, which would you give it to? Leaked. Leaked. I'm sorry, but I play with him too much and he's my favorite, so that'd be leaked. What would they be? Oh man, I don't even know for leaked. It's the thing is they gave him the perfect evo in terms of exactly what I wanted in terms of, you know, not touching the original functionality and making him actually enhance it in terms of giving a damage buff of all things. That's amazing. And then giving him also a lore ability that is like very neat like that. That's such a hard question. I was like, it's gotta be leaked. Well, definitely not hard for me. If I did have to think of one, it would probably just be like increase his base start CP, so that that's even more busted now. Thank you, LifeWonders. Honestly, you did perfect with this Evo. It was amazing, but don't blame me. Blame Jared for asking. If I had to do it, regardless of if they need one or not, and if they already have one, it would be leaked. Read Blood of the Beast Evo. Shino's Evo is from Blood of the Beast. Also, hey. Solid Milk, aka Zalgas. Glad you could join it. Ara and Leaked happy about the Evo. Yeah, I was like a bit worried that they would kind of like give something underwhelming, but honestly, Leaked is probably one of the most elaborate Evos they've ever done, and not even like elaborate but bad way or elaborate mediocre, but actually like it covers pretty much all bases in at least like a good way, if not amazing. But yeah, that would be the one thing I guess I want from another leaked Evo if that ever happens for some reason. Increases a base start CP. For me, I'm between giving it to Searcher or Zabania. Yeah, Zabania could use another one, his base one. I mean, you know, prayers need, I guess, but it's like the rest of us doesn't really need it too much besides attack up. Anyway. Could just get attack from racking or something. It's gonna be low rate either way is the point, even with prayer. Searcher definitely needs one though. It's like, what does he even do? Berserker, a Berserk plus at low rate if he gets it, and then like cross range healing and CP, which is, I don't know, it's like an alt snow at that point. Not really strong identity for use cases. Maybe you could use some enhanced movement so that he could actually better use his, what's it called, ability to support people in the cross range while actually still being able to parry them as well. You can give it to multiple people. What do you mean by that? And honestly, does Searcher not have one? He does not have a single Evo, no. Rip. Searcher makes his Berserk Plus among something else I haven't thought, or fires the money, increased horizontal movement, and finally get to apply burn to himself. I mean, I'm sure he would like that. Yeah, Searcher's been dead and forgotten, and I completely 100% blame Extravaganza for that. Killing every unit who's ever been in that event. And Evo, you can make a list. Oh, you want more than just that one example? Alright, sure. This is a fun topic. I'm game. Goemon, because I like Goemon. I would wish... One, I wish he would spread all debuffs, because playing around his obstruct thing being there first is kind of stupid. So being able to spread all debuffs at once at the same time would be super helpful. So like an Evo to his already existing skill Evo, if that's not a thing yet, but that's what I would wish. Because like debuff spreading is such a unique concept, and only he can do it. It's kind of ickily prevented by oppression, or rather obstructing in a way, and it would not be an issue if he could just spread all of them at once. Although that would just make him completely what's called power creep Zhurong at that point. I don't know. Well, the thing is, I would also want to Evo Zhurong because I like him. But I wouldn't know how to do it at that point to make him different from Goemon, since Goemon would just do it better at that point. Oof, Rip Searcher, indeed. But yeah, make Goemon's abilities to heal and take HP and give HP guaranteed, as well as take CP and give CP. And make his HP apply to self as well. And also, what's it called? Maybe add like an effect on top of that that's related to like the new steal effect. Or maybe not. I know it's fine as it is. But I do want it to be guaranteed, and I do want his healing to apply to self as well. Oh, and this is not really possible right now, but I also want his charge to be upgraded so that he actually does the what's called the debuff refreshment as well there too, the debuff spread. Currently not a thing. It's only a few regular attacks, so it's a bit of a downgrade if he gets his charge in that sense. I know it makes no sense, but for Searcher, apart from upgrading to Berserk Plus, also make it so the unit behind him, the one who gets the defense up, gets weapon change shot. You're right, that doesn't really make sense, but I'm not sure if that'll be super useful too, since he's cross range, but I just want like Searcher to be more amenable to actually like pushing the front line, because that's how he is like in his quests, right? Whenever you see him as an enemy, he like pushes the front line with him. But right now it's just like it's gonna be, if he's like all the way in the left side or the right side, he can't really push everyone up with him. But yeah, more Evos. Let me think. Kotaro. Beach House Kotaro. Let's see. I'm almost struggling to say something because he's already so busted. Maybe give him a face start CP effect. Because like on miss is nice, but it's like he never does it if you're doing, constantly charging every turn. He has to get all his CP on later turns from someone else at that point. So it'd be nice for him to get CP to self on like turn start or face start. For me, firstly, I think it would be Christmas Tetsuya, since his kit feels weak to me. Doesn't he give like crit to like the allies in front of him? Or maybe it's just himself. What I would probably do is increase his range for HP recovery when attacking, and maybe a unique con for stealing CP. Yeah, CP stealing seems like it could be a unique thing. Well, never mind, that would just be Jiraiya's thing at that point. But using yeah, we could definitely see more CP stealing and HP stealing effects. Zhurong though is so oh my god, Zhurong's so busted. I can't believe they released Zhurong as a 4-star. He was like the first one to really make it his entire kit of being able to steal HP and CP. I'm not sure if he was the very first one until he might have been. Yeah, he was. He's the very first unit who was able to steal HP and steal CP, and he does both at the same time. And it's like he does it like at a ridiculous amount, and he does it on charge too, so he can constantly keep on spamming his charge and healing to full health if the board is large enough. Like, it's brilliant. I love Zhurong. Kit-wise and design-wise. It's hard thinking of something good for him that would help his kit apart from upgrading his Berserk Plus. I mean, look at his lore. You can always look for something inspiring and give him something brand new that's not just upgrading his existing kit. Let's see. No, it's just crit to himself, but maybe instead of stealing CP and HP for himself, it's for allies. Yeah, that could be good. Stealing is like, I thought it'd be kind of lame because it's, you know, it's just like a worse version of draining HP and then bestowing HP yourself. But I can see the trade-off is you can just flat out take a lot more because, you know, because they set that restriction, they can be more generous with how much you can steal. And Zhurong's is quite generous in terms of how much he can steal. So it'd be kind of hard to like power creep Zhurong's use in that case, except for, you know, as you put it, being able to bestow what you heal would be a unique effect. I don't think anyone can do that yet, can they? Because when people steal HP or CP, that's just giving it to self at this point. So that would be quite unique for you, Tetsuya. That would be a neat niche for sure. Maybe not the strongest niche, but it would be definitely a new niche. As for Zhurong, I'd give him an Evo where he, what's it called? Where he's able to get face start CP, and also if he can inflict darkness on charge as well, that'd be nice. Oh, and also inflict both of those, what's it called? Debuff HP reduction effects at the same time. Those are a lot more charged evolutions than regular evolutions, but you know, it's when you're using Zhurong, ideally he's gonna be charging every turn instead of doing regular attacks. So yeah. Some units could really use some Sacred Artifact evolutions. Yeah, for sure. That's something I'm very excited about if they ever do release. It's one of the things that the few IDs left in my head. A lot of the things I thought about LifeWonders implemented, they actually eventually did. But Charge Evolutions is still one of them that they have not, conspicuously. Because like Arsalan still needs help. Like no matter what, even with this Evo, it's still worse to have a lower Secret Artifact than, you know, a higher one for him. There's a lot of units, like Leaked has several ways of getting CP to self, whether it's him moving or his, you know, whenever he attacks. But his charge is ass. It's just like it reduces CP and that's it. And it's like, we have better ways to do that with more CP being reduced. So it's just really baffling. Leaked definitely, I know I'm going back to Leaked, but yeah, Leaked would definitely be someone who would benefit from a charge evolution as well. As for what it would be, I mean, I don't know. This gets really amazing as it is. What are good charge effects? I would say some kind of debuff to the enemy. Yeah, I don't know. Just throw in anything. His charge evo is kind of crap at this point, but like I'm not gonna be picking what specific effect it'll be, as long as it's good. It would be in theme since he's a Santa, but he's not perfect since he's technically stealing it. I mean, I guess that's a theme for a Santa, more of a Grinch kind of thing, but and at a reliable range around him because sometimes positioning's hard. Yeah, sometimes. Surtur's charge is literally just to deal extra damage to evasion, protect Shen and Immortals, but you don't really take his 5 stars for damage. Yeah, it's kind of absurd that that's allowed to exist as a charge effect. Just deal extra damage to a very, very specific group of people. I don't consider it very good myself. It's definitely not, no. It's not something that scales with charge at all, because it's just, that's what you get. That damage multiplier, it does not change with a scalar artifact level. Fashionista walk on. While he is still dependably okay, I would give him an Evo, maybe increasing the rate of his crit. Because as he is right now, he's okay, but he's definitely not at the level he used to be, in my opinion. Yeah, I'd say I never really used him in first place because it's just like I don't like rerolling at all, period. That said, it seems like he may have found a bit more relevance with these new charge effects that change your, or skill effects that change your charge range, particularly with Licho's to all range. So just because Licho exists now, and I guess also if you want to be cheeky with Temujin somehow in his charge range and somehow pilfer it, then you can have Fashionista walk on, go off his charge and hit everyone and give like 100 CP to everyone, including stuff every turn. So that's a very powerful use scenario for that. But you do still need like a certain number of units on board for that. I've seen it demonstrated. It is quite strong, to be honest. You can have like permanent evasion as a result of that, or more relevantly with Hermes, permanent damage reversal.
I have control. I have got tied up.
Hold on, I will think of more ideas, but I need a sip of water. So, and also a bit of air.
I have got tied up.
All right. Now, who deserves an Evo, or rather, who do I want to get an Evo, even if they don't deserve it? Furufumi is another one. I haven't been using him lately, but not because I think he's not useful anymore. It's just, I don't know. There's just a lot more fun, cheesy setups. Like, Furufumi is like a very strong tank, but he really is kind of just a tank. His unique thing was that he didn't need to move to be a tank. Being able to apply permanent protection himself as long as you skill seed him, and also being able to apply curse to the units in front of him. But there's just a lot more fun ways to have tanks now, like with Zhangxi Krampus constantly moving and having buffs up, or having some sort of buff juggling setup. Yeah, so if I were to buff Furufumi in some way, how would it be? Maybe do it in a way where he heals more to himself. I don't think like his only way of healing right now is blessing, and I feel like it's slightly underwhelming in terms of he can't fully really out heal the damage oftentimes because, well, one, his curse doesn't always go off, and two, that's still only 2 damage reduction multipliers. So it could help if he has more healing or another kind of a damage reduction effect, but that's a bit boring. So. Oh, you know who I want an Evo for sure? Related to coins. I want Lucky Cat to get an Evo where his the amount of coins he rewards will increase based on your sacred artifact level. That's probably my #1 thing to in terms of chart skill evolution.
だよな後輩俺とお前は最高のパートナーだよ
So today's theme of the stream is Skill Evos, while yesterday it was Final Fantasy 14. No, Lewis, don't expose me! Streamlining the content so that there's a single topic I can rename the stream for. I was actually just thinking that like maybe 5 minutes ago. Yes, I think I will rename the stream based on Skill Evos. Exposing my method. That would be really cool to see, especially since people probably already have a lot of Lucky Cat dupes. Yeah, and it'll also, you know, people have a lot more incentive to pull the ally gacha, because I know some people just have given up completely on playing that. A skill evo where their money bonus goes to 5% and they apply going to everyone on phase start. I mean, we already have... I guess what you mean to say is you don't want to bring the Kool-Aid Bear. Yeah, it could be good to have that effect, but 5% doesn't seem like enough for something that scales up to 100%. Why don't we have an effect that scales up to making up the difference so that it goes all the way? If it goes 2% right now and then it gives 59% in total with everyone else, then maybe something that scales up to what is it? That's 40 left, so 42. Yeah, maybe something that goes up to 40% or 42 from 2%. And I know that's a lot for Lucky Cat, but it's not like it's not exactly easy to get Lucky Cat dupes anyways, so I pull on it for summoner dupes, namely Ken goes, yeah, I do it. I pull for dupes too, but mainly for every single mob ever. Oh, okay, so on topic, kind of for skill evolutions. What AR pairing do you want to see and what effect would they have? Wait a second, we just select the thingy-mabob. As a bonus, what would they be doing? Doing in the art, I mean, let's see. They would be doing each other, and they would bestow to each other shot range and arousal. I'm kidding. Question, is normal glint stackable with, well, stackable glint? Yes, it is. Any stackables has a regular version that's not stackable, and those, you know, individual non-stackables stack with the stackables. It's just that you usually don't see them in the same kit, so it's not usually a thing you think about. And also, like, it's pretty much just what's called Bircho that has glint stackable, so it's not really relevant anyways, since Bircho himself is not relevant. But AR-wise, what would I want as pairings, or you know, more than that? I've been spoiled with leaked ARs, so it's like I don't think I even want any more leaked ARs. I got 5-star leaked with Fumi, and I got, you know, this beautiful leaked with Itzamna, and there was the friendship ARs. Oh, I love every single interaction was leaked in Benton and Kuniyoshi. And they have like they have 3 of them, right? So it's not like we're strapped to that at all. And Konbu leaked especially is my favorite, so I'm saying leaked a lot, aren't I? Virtual Evo just gives them another stack of wood. Yamate kudasai! No, anything but that. Then bam, Lucky Cat gives stackable glint now on phase start. Oh, you want stackable glint. Yeah, it could work out, I guess. Just like 1 stack though. That'd be kind of awkward, just like, hey, it's stackable glint, except that doesn't come with the other stackable. But it can stack with a regular glint. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I don't think I'll ever release a skill where you only have some of the stackables, not all of them, in some fashion. But yeah, in terms of... Ooh, I know. I want an AR with Jurong and Ketchi interacting. They're just too cute together. They're both so cute! But, you know, Jurong's cuter, but... I really like Jurong. Where's the Jurong content? LifeWonders. I know you just released them, but I need more. Let's see. What would they be doing? Maybe, what's it called? Jurong will be... What's it called? taking photos of Kechi's magic show or something. Or maybe they're doing like a joint act together. I don't know. I don't know more about Jurong enough to really understand what he does. I feel like there's massive spoilers there from what I've seen, but Jurong is a mystery character. I don't know yet. I would love to see more Jurong though. I think LifeWonders recently asked some time ago what they want to see as a plushie if they're gonna sell it. I want a Jurong plushie. Give me that Jurong plushie. But yeah, as for the Evo itself, let's see. Since they're both small and magical and something like that, maybe we can give them. I don't want to say spirit, but spirits would work with them. What do you think? Sometimes Evos, ARs are kind of used in place of Evos to like save a kit. So in a way, maybe right now I'm trying to think of a way that will like upgrade both of their kits at the same time. So maybe something like, oh, I know. An AR that simultaneously allows you to spread the buffs you currently have to the units adjacent to you, as well as spread the debuffs that of the enemies you hit to their allies adjacent to them. So the buff spread would be useful for Kechi. He has an Evo, buff like that Evo. And then the Jurong's side, he would benefit from the debuff spread since currently that's only Goemon saying. That would be a cool Evo AR for sure. Maybe sword busted depending on rates, but maybe not so busted if the rates are shit. Let's see. Bircho Evo, but he gets stackable concentration now. That would be only mildly useful because it's like, I don't know, Bircho. You have to use Bircho. Oh, I know. AR with Searcher and Kit baking cat-safe cakes and treats. Cat-safe treats. I guess that could work. Yeah, I know. Searcher is a cake guy, so I guess it makes sense. It's just like the idea of cakes has been almost ruined for me with Behemoth existing. Can we talk about how Arc 4-star exists? And how so? Of them like toppling themselves over doing the Matrix, except in reverse. Talking about gun gender 4-star needing a skill Evo. Oh, is that how you feel? I mean, they could use an Evo, yeah, now, but I felt they were perfectly fine before, even unreleased. I actually managed to use them on... it was a bit of a meme before, but I ended up using them on several challenge quests because of how specific their utility was. Like with the Jiangxi challenge quest, the third one, I believe originally they were quite useful just because they had both stigma resistance as well as the ability to reduce... Actually, it was primarily stigma resistance and their advantage against stigma that made them super useful against Jiangxi Krampus and, with Jiangxi Krampus to just make sure every single time he hits is super strong. They were also useful for just denying charge because there weren't that many charge deniers back then. And she did that at 100% range at snipe range, so that's someone I used for the... I did that for... Which one? It was... Sorry, I need to do this. It was for the Veil one where he like changed weapons every turn. And then I also used Arc again for the Fashionista challenge quest because CP reduction was useful, as well as her anchor, their anchor, sorry, was a... in that case, actually situationally very useful to prevent the pull-in from the Fashionista units. So they had like a lot of very challenge quest specific utility back then, consecutively. I think I might have actually used for one more. Yeah, it might have been the Beach House challenge quest where I used them to prevent Alberic from charging. They could definitely use an Evo now though, because I haven't not used them in an Evo for a while, but it's not like they didn't get the spotlight. I do like them a lot. Favorite MB murder committer. Okay. I hope that list isn't too long. That would not be good representation for them. So, no Goemon leaked AR. What is mini buff steal and bestowal to allies? Okay, game, please do not have a seizure. Goemon and Leaked never interact in game, and they kind of have different personalities, so I don't really see how they would mesh that well. They just can't have completely different philosophies and all that, different lifestyles. So as much as I love Goemon and as much as I love Leaked, it would be like, how do I describe this? I love ice cream, and you know, I love what's it called? I love pho, like beef soup, but I wouldn't mix them together, right? It's like some things are better with other things, even if they're both favorites. That doesn't mean together they'll be the best meal forever. Now, if I were to pair Leaked with someone he hasn't been paired before, or going with someone he hasn't been paired before, let me think about this. Surprisingly, there hasn't been any ARs with Melusine yet, so it could be neat for Leaked to actually interact with them again, her in that way. Because they do have a cool thing going in. She's like the one that legitimizes himself as being, you know, an actual leader to be, you know, seriously taken. The word is forced. If you mean like forcing interactions, I mean, you could force them, but I don't want to force bad writing, right? So, I would like you know, something that makes sense to me. So I'm not just gonna, even if I think they're both amazing, I don't see their chemistry as being amazing. But yeah, Leaked maybe it was Melusine because we haven't had one with her yet. Who else? Maybe one with what's called Hakumen, Ophion, and what's called, who's the third one? Lucifuge. Of how they keep on interrupting. That'd be funny. Oh, poor Leaked, poor baby. I honestly would hope we get some protagonist ARs. I understand why that doesn't happen, but like, why not? Because I have to drive 5 times, but yeah. Like, the protagonist AR we received is the first person ones with the Oath ARs. You know, every time they reach their hand out, it's you, the protagonist, it me. But, you know, they're not gonna drop 5 different protagonists. But yeah, it is unfortunate. They did voice it 5 times though, that's still a lot. If you switch your protagonist for those ARs, I mean, it should be obvious since if you ever actually use them, then the voice lines for those ARs actually change. Those are the only cases where it changes, though, since the protagonist does not have any ARs like that. Yes, it me reaching for you in those Oath ARs. But yeah, as for Goemon, who would I pair him with? He's a very exciting person, excitable. Honestly, he seemed pretty chill in this event, surprisingly so. But his alternate personality of Goemon was very lively. I would say, I'd like him to be paired with Kimun, because they're both like really cute fire types. That I really like their big bellies and all that. They're just kind of, you know, being a bit basic, so kind of ignoring what I said about how much they jive together. I don't think they wouldn't completely jive though, because like one of them is all about like stealing and then giving to the poor or something, and then I believe Kimun, or at least one, is all about stealing clothes or something. So, you know, and it's in the kit too, like Kimun's thing, or Wen's thing when they do the charge, is stealing clothes or stealing buffs anyways. So that could be that would be my pairing with Goemon, with Kimun. I do like Kimun a lot, it's just that I didn't get him for a long time, so I didn't end up skill seeding him or seeding at all. And then just a bunch of other units came up, and then I just prioritized it instead, even though I eventually got Kimun 4. Oh no, they're coming to me. It's got me to the screen. It's like the hand meme, with the highly detailed fingers. Oh my gosh, if someone redraws that like that, that'd be messed up. But kind of funny too. The oaths are actually the characters making you take the place of their friends, so you become the new sacrifice instead. The fuck? What the fuck? That's fucked up, Lewis. Where do you even imagine that from? That's fucked up. Honestly, an entertainer's AR putting on a stage show would be cool. Yeah, it could be. The only reason I didn't mention an entertainer's AR is because I don't know enough about the entertainers to crave that. Like, we only know Christine, but she's like, you know, kind of does whatever the fuck she wants, and it doesn't make sense half the time. She like appears in Desert Journey. She's like, I'm gonna go tell you a story, and I'm gonna be here for no reason. And then she appears randomly in Battle of the Valentines, and she's like, I'm gonna solve the issue with Leanne and Chi. And it's, I don't know, I can't really put a finger on what Christine is, and the rest of the entertainers as a result too. A Christine era with all 5 protagonists putting on a mask could be good. That would be very cool, yeah. A dedicated AR just to showcase all 5 like that. Although that honestly may not be enough, since that's actually just her 4-star at that point. So, yeah, maybe a bit more creativity than just that, unfortunately. What is the quest? Oh, the quest right now I'm doing right now is the Coin Scuffle Extreme. As you can see in the top right, the name of the quest is this there now. Surprise, surprise. The East Map Leader, but now you know what quest you're going to. So do that because it has half stamina off right now. The hyper-realistic hand, yeah. They reach through the screen and with hyper-realistic hand and then kidnap your body and soul. I mean, I wouldn't mind with Kengo.
I have control.
Easy peasy. Kengo when he gets the AR. But just, you know, promise me that Toji won't ever get me, because he has been overly trikified there. I don't know what demon did that to him, but I don't want that happening to me. It's so weird how Toji looks so abnormally skinny bones in his AR. Like he was just drawn directly out of a what's called a Fujoshi manga with by Shonen. Don't let Joe. I'm sure Joe agrees. Like his art with Halloween Police is pretty swagger. His Valentine's art is okay, and you know, Defaulter is whatever. But his AR art is kind of a meme. Toji is coming to get ya. You know, shouldn't have said anything. No, anything but that. Not the Toji hands. You know I'm not wrong. Yeah. I'll reach for you with this hyper-realistic Twinkie hands. No thanks. It needs to be Kengo or no deal.
I have control. 合体だ。合体だ。合体だ。いけ。
Oh man, my game's really not cooperating with the stream.
やったよな後輩。俺とお前は最高のパートナーだよ。
Kengo AR giving crit isn't for damage. It's for the strength to chokehold you with 1 pound unless he pulls you in. What the fuck? The absurdity of today's humor is always baffling sometimes. We've literally entered into like a modern day surreal painting with how memes are today. Yeah, I think the only summoner I don't really care about is Ryota. Even Agyo and Golden Pregnancy King are kind of more than him in my eyes. Yeah, fucking Jared's gone. But I used to care about Ryota. I've harped on about this, but like all my motivation to care about him drained when he like totally friend-zoned us. And then I was like, it was a bit, you know, sad sob story in like chapter 8 when he's talking about how no one treats him seriously, but that's his own fault, so you know, like too little too late. I guess. And yeah, it was even hard to care for him in festival when he was taking on this whole "I need my memories, but my memories" moment. So I don't really care about Ryota as much anymore. Yeah, same. With that said, I probably care about him. Actually, let me see. Let me rank the summoners. He might actually be the worst one right now, or at least the one to care least about. Arc Prayer Error is so you have something to hope for before you die. You guys are such fucking meme boards. Let's see. Kengo's number 1 for sure. Then I would probably rank. Who's next? I kind of like Toji a bit more than Shiro, so he might be next just by default in that case. I'm not ranking myself in this, by the way, as the protagonist. Let's see. I would probably rank. So Kengo's first. I would rank Agyo next because I think Agyo's cute. Kijimu's story is really sad, with him looking at the flower at the end. So I'd rank him third. I'd rank Toji fourth. Oh, never mind. I found out a character I like even less than Ryota in it. So Toji fourth. Actually, never mind. Golden Bursty would be fourth. Actually, maybe they're tied. It's like fourth or fifth between Golden Bursty and Toji. Probably Toji will be fourth and Golden Bursty fifth. And then, what's it called? Shiro would be sixth. Ryota would be seventh. And then Hanuman would be eighth. I do not like Hanuman. Shiro AR for instilling fear as his hands grab your face. You guys need to calm down. Too much weird Twitter memes for you. All the summoner ARs are the different stages of grief of how you get pulled in. You guys are sick. I don't blame you the Hanuman thing. Who is Hanuman supposed to appeal to? It's like muscle shata annoying voice that serves no purpose in the story and has kind of a boring personality. What? I don't get his appeal. Hanuman is such a waste of screen time. I don't even know. His appearance in main story. I'm gonna go with the agents. Oh, you're gonna do that thing? Oh, well, I'm gonna join the Summers now. Bye. And then Hanuman in Desert Journey. I'm gonna play video games. Look at me targeting the weak spots. Fun, fun, fun. And then I think that's pretty much his entire character arc. And then him in like what's called. There were more appearances, I swear by him, but. No, there were. He literally does nothing. God, I hate Hanuman. Skill Evo, where the summoners pull in enemies 1 square forward. We already have that Evo, actually, with, not Evo. I guess not Evo. We have that as an AR with the blow range one, featuring Goemon. And an attack to represent their hands coming for you, Kanan. I don't know, his muscles try to act very childish. That's... There's nothing so ugly as fuck. And I hate... By the way, this isn't even separate from Hanuman, but I just dislike, let's go, monkey slash, you know, ape kind of... the furries that are not even furries. It's like, why would you do a monkey if that's like evolutionary, like very close to it? It's like such a weird cop out to not go all the way. Like, why would you want this halfway thing? No. Yamate! Get the monkey boy away from me. But yeah, all he does is like plays video games or some shit. He's supposed to be happy, and then in the main story he does nothing. He just switches sides very quickly. What? I don't get it. It's so pointless. He's the best thing LifeWonders ever did was giving him like fully clothed skins with his anniversary suit and his school uniform. It's like, the less I have to see of him, the better. Donkey Kong's cool because like he's actually quite like ape types are better than monkey types, I would say. Like but when they start like making them look like humans, but then they have like a tail or something like Goku or something, just make them hairier versions of humans. That's what kind of weirds me out. Like, for example, I really don't like a wood mobster as a result for the same reason. Fucking looks like an NFT. But yeah, Donkey Kong is definitely like far removed enough. Definitely owns that ape identity rather than being like some sort of human with extra fur hair on them. But that said, there's bias here because Donkey Kong is like the default pairing, Bara pairing with Bowser. The fact we don't get to use Mobster Summer skins is this, and I think maybe you should check again. So, get back to me on that once you check. Are Housamo mobs just in world NFTs? Pretty much it's just gonna be the wood mobster. I think the rest of the mobsters look okay to find. Fire mobster is mostly popular because it has the blep. I actually dislike Ether mobster because it's human and also because it was the bane of bestowing evasion. It's not an issue anymore, but there's cancer. He was like the source of cancer back when grinding wasn't as easy as it is today.
I have a control.
And another one's like, okay, it's just some sort of demon thing. Water, I think water's my favorite. The like alligator dragon thing. Oh wait, can we actually switch skins for mobs now? I remember we couldn't before. We couldn't for a very, 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 very long time. They eventually implemented it though, so you can switch to almost every skin in mobs. Some notable exceptions will be you cannot switch into the Capo skin for the wolf mob for some very sad reason, because that's very swagger skin. I would have loved to switch that. For the Onis, only the red Oni can switch into the summer skin, but yes, he does have the summer skin, which is neat. I feel like there's more exceptions. Oh yeah, I think the devils can't switch into their Christmas skins, which is weird. They can switch into like their Jamboree skins, but they don't have Christmas skins for some reason. But you have a lot to be working on now, Lewis, since there's a lot of alternate skins you can browse now. Me and the homies hate Easter Monster for sure. Easter Monster can go and stay go. Oh, yo, that's cool. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. You know, as much as I harp on about how much I love the mechanics, and you know, I don't pull as hard for like skins as other people do. Like I do take my time to select skins. I looked through every mob and I was like, what would be the neatest diversity and which people look best with which skins? But this is not going to be a fashion show. I will not be showing off which Like, you can look at it right here. You look at you see the mobs, right? That's not the merman's usual skin, and that's definitely not the Yaksha's usual skin either. So it's a bit funny you said that after, you know, two consecutive days of several hours of streaming with these mobs with different skins. Now that I think about it. Because he's front-facing, he's looking right at you as he gives evasion to his allies. Easter mobster needs to stop existing. His crimes shall not be forgiven, and I will report him to the appropriate authorities. That's all I can say to that. Yeah, it is. It really is. I don't know how to describe this battle theme, but it's like, it's not just overly over the top with like cool sound effects, but it really sounds like it's building up to something, and it's a resolution of many different kind of points. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. That sounds like what some sort of charlatan music analyst would say. It sounds very cool. That's what I can say. I can definitely analyze it more carefully than that, but then I would lose you all. The game's music is great. Yeah, definitely lately for the past couple of years, the music has been amazing, for the most. And even some of the beginning game's music, like this one, are quite bangers. Although for the most, the beginning music isn't that great, but this is one of the rare exceptions where I like this, default song. Favorite mob is based on art alone. For me, it's Hercules Beetle. His design does that for. It's Hercules Beetle. His design does a lot for me. The police mobs that usually accompany Tajikaro and the scat bears are absolutely adorable. I forget the name. I'm not sure what you mean by Hercules Beetles. Oh, you mean... Sorry, I thought you were making a joke on Hercules being a mob because his design is boring. But no, I remember what you mean. It's one of the troopers or something. And as for the police mobs, they're called... what's called Tenjin, I believe. Well, that's what they're called in Japanese. They're called deities. And the scat bears are called Chiramantep. Yeah, the Chiramantep are all cute. A bit samey, but it doesn't matter because it's like the extreme colors can be a bit off-putting for the other mobs anyways. They pull off their variations quite well, even if they're all brown bears with their different eye color skins and different bands and all that, and different faces. As if they have their own individual personalities, You don't need to have different skin colors to demonstrate they're different people. Let's see. But the Hercules Beetles, I'm not a fan of the bug ones, honestly. That is just a personal issue, though. The police mobs, yeah, most of them, except for maybe the wood one, are hot. My favorite one among them, probably World Tenjin, which is not even released yet. The favorite is Another Angel. Yeah, I mean, they kind of have a recurring role in the story. The Giants and the Bugmen have no rights to be so hot. The Giants, my favorites among them are the World Giant as well as the Fire Giant. I do like that bone mask the Fire one is wearing, and the World Giant, I do like that beard. Yeah, Giants were just the next best mob after Barons came out. Oh, the Alchemists are real cute too. Yeah, they are. And Scrum Debate, everyone's favorite. Though, no one likes to admit it, but Scrum Debate only has this cool build-up. It doesn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. But it's still hype nonetheless. But yeah, another angel does have a recurring role in the story as like the captain of the guard in the Aoyama missionaries. So, and also he does have that kind of nice rugged look. I would say he's probably my favorite too among the angels. Oh no, musicals please. It is. Cover your ears, Zelkus. Although honestly, you've heard it by now, anyways, and you might have heard of this before too. It also helps Hisat. Yeah, he's got that, you know, kind of supermodel. No, I pressed the wrong button. Efficiency, efficiency. Carrying on. But yeah. I don't like the angels because of their stupid spandex, but their faces can be quite nice. They're one of the most directly, conventionally hot people Bomb has drawn. I just have a problem with their stupid ass lack spandex thing. I know that's some people's things, it's not mine. That's why I'm also a bit worried going into law for that reason, because I'm not a fan of superhero getups and spandex and latex and all that. That's fine. It's funny that the spandex has a canon reason for existing. Oh yeah, something about making it easier to get into fighters or something. I don't know. That's, you know, retroactive reasoning. I call bull on that. But yeah, for me, my favorite mobs, I guess, I do like Mars a lot, aka Red Baron. And let's see. I don't like them. The bulges look especially the bulge bombs. Well, that's just different opinion at the point. I just don't care for them because it's like, you know, they're in spandex. But not complaining though. Hey, good morning, Log. Good morning. I'm actually almost done the stream actually, so it's a bit awkward that you're joining now. But you know, we're still having a good conversation. Just mentioned my favorite mobs right now is probably Red Baron, Nether Baron, sorry, Fire and Nether Baron. And I do like the agents. I'm not sure if I have a favorite among them. They all dress nicely. Who else? Oh yeah, the giants and the World Giant and the Fire Giant. And then there's also, what's it called? The Chairman Tip, pretty much all of them. I think I like the Ether one the most though, which is Amanuma look. And man, I feel like I'm missing something here. I like Red Oni a lot. One, because of his story, but also two, because of his role in, what's it called? Oh yeah, his appearance in some point is pretty good. Oh yeah, the thingies, the deities. I really do like the world deity as well as the Nether deity a lot. I dislike all the wrestlers honestly, for the same reason I dislike Hanuman. There's just like weirdly human with some little fake fur. I think the Yaksha are cool. You know, they definitely have that very punk kind of style with those nail bats and shit like that. Fucking stop sign. I like their aesthetic a lot. I like Infernal mermaid a lot too. Whether they're evil or they're cute, they look equally as captivating. They're cats. Jaguar men. I like them okay enough. Rest of those are gross. I remember you. Let me just. I remember you used a lot of salmon drinks during the other coin event. That it wasn't the coin dungeon. Yeah, I use a lot of drinks every single time, which necessarily means I pretty much almost never use drinks outside of these coin things. I specifically save drinks just for these coin things because that is, in my opinion, the best possible use for drinks. You know, it's always going to be a balancing act between if you have enough seeds versus if you have enough coin. And since this is the best way to get coin, dump everything on that so you never have to worry about seed. Or being able to use speed anyways. Let's see. Valiant Wrestler, because he's got the tongue sticking out like Kengo does in Valentine's Sprite. That's cute to me. I mean, Kengo's cute, but Valiant Wrestler's okay, I guess. And Fallen Mermaid looks depressed. Yeah, she does. It's cute. I like it. Valiant Mermaid, yeah, like, what's taking them so long with Valiant Mermaid? Their event already released, the fuck? I mean, I know technically it's a named character. No! Inefficiency! But, yeah, Yam was the character in that story. It wasn't just any Valiant Mermaid, it was the wife of Aegir. But, you know, come on. Come on! It was Valiant Mermaid. Surprisingly, I don't really care for pretty much any of the mermen. I would be down for another, you know, for a Valiant Merman and, you know, a world. Just filling the missing attributes for the rest of the old mobs. I also like Green Wolf a lot. I know that all the wolves are identical, but, you know, Green Wolf has a bit of appearance, like with the ARs and with him being in the baseball game as a part of the team member. So, I think it was a Green Wolf that was a part of the team member anyways. I gotta say single. Rip. Quite literally rip. Thought I did saw Valiant. Yeah, the Valiant Mermaid was... It existed, but only for that event because it was Yam, the wife of Aegir. I think that was her name, anyways. No relation to Yam from Kanan. I mean, aren't we also, technically speaking, his wife, or something along those lines? I don't know. It's been too long, I can't remember. Or is it just like he likes us a lot and that's why I consider treasure? I think it's that, honestly. I don't think he ever mistook us for his wife. Anyway, I gotta go for now. Talk to you later. Oh, and pirates are really nice mobs too. Oh yeah, pirates exist. They're okay. I can't remember I think I like the bull one, but that's just like bulls. The other one. But yeah, thank you for joining. Ran. Yes, Ran, not Yam. Where am I getting your Yam from? Thank you for the correction before you head out. I mean, I'm about to close the stream anyways, but thank you for the correction. It is indeed Ran, the wife of Aegir. The only Valiant Mermaid in existence, and hence why we can't own them because they are dead and they're also taken. I think it's Easter Wolf in the baseball club. Oh man, I got it wrong. Damn it. I thought there was of the Eastern Nethers just for the Christmas stuff, which is cheeky in its own way. But yeah, thank you for joining Jer Bear for this duration. It was great talking to you all this time. Hope your day goes wonderfully. It's 10:52 a.m. on your time. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Don't miss out on breakfast. Make sure you wash up and do your stretches if you do that. And hope I can enhance your moaning, if only for a few minutes, because it really will only be for a few minutes. I am closing the stream in less than 10 minutes now. But yeah. That's not to say it's the end. It's the end for today, but tomorrow and the day after, as well as the day after that, I will be streaming at the same time, 3 p.m. EST, because I will be doing the dungeon stories, so look forward to that. I should probably be saying this at the end instead, otherwise I will run out of things to say. So I'll just repeat that near the end, I guess. Buying for time! You know, I probably would have been out of breath before, but those event stories I was doing for Valentine's were a trial. They have trained me for this moment of being able to speak this long without really, like, completely getting exhausted too fast. Oh, I can't go to your stream tomorrow because I have high school. That's sucks. I mean, it's important you go to high school. That I don't mean it sucks that you're going to high school. I mean, you know, thanks for thinking of considering joining. There will always be a playback, of course. And I know these times don't always work out for most people since they're on the weekdays, but you know, I gotta release these somehow, and I can't really release them on the weekends when I'm already doing these coin streams. I like to have at least one weekend to myself anyways too. I say that as I decided to stream yesterday. But yeah, look forward to the replay of that. Hey, Harvey's nice tissue box. I'm kidding. I know that's a kitty in a box, but it really does look like a tissue box. Nice betrayal of your husbando. Rip Licho. Team Delos is all Harvey knows now. Okay, I know you can have multiple husbandos. Hey, did you know for $1 you can join and use emojis that are custom made? Like Toboyo. Sub promotion. Just for you, Harvey. I did not mention that before, but just because you're here, I'm gonna go mention that now. The shilling begins. I'm pretty sure this song played as the last song in my last stream. So the fact that I was looping it to it already, I mean, I know it's near the end, so it should be like 3 hours, but maybe I should increase my playlist size. Four hours till 11 a.m. for you. Didn't you just say it was like 10:52? What? I am confused. How does that make sense? Do you mean like 4 minutes? Probably. So, for those who are still around, 10:56. Yeah, you probably mean 4 minutes, not 4 hours. But for those still around at this point, and who are planning to join tomorrow, just to keep in mind, you do need to finish chapters 1 to 9 before you start watching that, because that is, I believe that's when that set of event dungeon stories took place. You don't want to spoil yourself, so make sure you watch up to chapter 9 at least, if you haven't already. Up to and including chapter 9, sorry. For tomorrow's stream, which will be covering the Shijuku dungeon. The day after that, I'll be covering the Aoyama dungeon, which will be... well, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be including... Yeah, it'll be including chapter 10, so make sure you watch chapter 10. And chapter 11, I believe, needs to be watched before you see the Aoyama dungeon on the following day. Did I say Aoyama before? Okay. Order is Shinjuku, then Ikebukuro, then Aoyama. Sometimes I missay things. I had 14 DP lamps. Wow, when I didn't know. Well, you can use them now. You don't necessarily have to use them right now either. Like, I'm not fully convinced that it's coin dungeons are the best case to use for sure. I know the only other case right now is like the sea dungeon, and they're both about equally as good, I think. But there's also the possibility of maybe you could save it for a new dungeon that might come up that's just better than those two. Like, I am crossing my fingers for a Blossom dungeon one day. Who's your next seed target, by the way? My next seed target, well, Jurong's already in progress. I just finished a Tangaroa the other day, so I'll probably start doing Jurong soon. I still need to finish Kuzunek first though. I have a list, so it's not gonna be trivial. Oh no, I reached 6 o'clock. But I didn't want to answer this question first, so I'll just finish one more quest and then we can call it quits from here. So, besides those two, Kuzunek, I'm only skill seeding Kuzunek, by the way. I don't actually care about him, I just need him for guaranteed combo. Jurong, and then I will probably start working on... I wish I had an infernal unit that I could care about seeding fully, but I do not right now. I would probably start seeding, maybe we'll start saving at this point. I like Keymoon. I don't really mention it, but that's because I just have a lot of other units to seed. But Keymoon is probably up there for me to seed, just because I like him, not because of any utility purposes. But maybe slightly Uguchi, probably not Uguchi. I like Uguchi too, but you know, there's only so many times I could like find myself attracted to like a fire range or a fire type unit that can steal buffs. Let's see. Also, you gotta go. Take care though. It's fun to drop for a bit in chat. See you later. Hey, thanks for joining, Lewis. Sorry if I didn't say bye while you already left, but it was a pleasure to talk to you all this time. Have a good day, man, and you know, stay gold. The level plus and skill plus seed raises the gold a lot. Yeah, it does, but it's like the best thing you can spend it on, and it's worth it for if you're doing things like grinding this. I keep maxing out my parameter inventory from Blossom Quest, so I keep throwing them at Keymoon, who I practically never use whatsoever. I mean, Keymoon's cute, so he deserves it. It seems like you already seeded them anyways if you're using Blossoms on him. I'm excited for the dungeon stories. Yes, look forward to that tomorrow. Yeah, I did say Keymoon. I do like Keymoon. I just don't really say it enough because I have a lot of other units I would say first. Anyways, yeah, that will be my final battle for today. So before we head off and close the stream, let us just review the items here. Let me turn on this filter thing. So we began with a bit under 4 million and ended just under 30 million. I think that's actually a lot more than that. Yes, I need to review this. I can't remember what I started off with, but that seems like a lot more. And we ended off with 98 majors. I didn't use any drinks, so no need to worry about that. But yeah, everyone, thank you for joining me. Just to reiterate, tomorrow, watch up to chapter 9 to see the Shinjuku dungeon stream, 3 p.m. EST tomorrow. The day after, Ikebukuro dungeon stream, watch up to chapter 10. And the day after, watch up to chapter 11. That's gonna be the Aoyama stream at 3 p.m. So 3 more days, and then I can finally die and just sleep for the next week, at least until the next weekend. But yeah, thanks for joining everyone, and thank you for joining Harvey for like the last 20 minutes. It's cool. You can join for however long you want. There is no obligation to stay for the entire 3 hours. That's by obligation. But yeah. For those that are joining tomorrow to see this story, I'll see you then. And for those that will join whenever, then I will see you whenever. Have a good day, everyone. And, I don't know. Bye.